Things on here now. Great. That's actually a good thing. All right, we are
know.
live. Welcome to Show Me the Money Club with Sergio and myself. We have a lot to cover. We have a guest coming on later. There was a scheduling conflict, which is fine. So he will be coming on probably towards the end of the show, which is fine. And we have Gabe coming on, our resident EV, which is fine because, you know, I might have to get a new vehicle. So he can try to convince me to go electric, or I'm just going to stick with another newer Jeep Grand Cherokee. So with that being said, what's going on, Sergio? How you doing?
I'm doing great. Compared to you, under 8 foot of snow, I'm doing really well.
Oh, yeah. So, well, that's one of today's, that's the first
know.
topic we're going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about snowstorms and pictures and the surge or lack thereof. We're going to be talking about, you know, should you be driving in things like this? And I'm going to tell my 2 cents when it comes to this stuff. We got some Lyft upfront earnings details that we're going to be going over. Definitely some of the rate rebalancing coming from there. We're going to be talking about Uber and Lyft's upfront earnings, pretty much Uber versus Lyft. We're going to be talking about how to turn new requests off on both apps. So there were some questions there. We're going to go over that exactly, just because, you know, that's part of the title. How are you going to give yourself a pay raise? That's one of the things right there. So we are going to get into that. We also have a nightmare that a driver had to go to. And if you watched the short from earlier today that I put out, kind of saw exactly what that is, where he got kicked off and could not go back on, like had to like sign in and still wouldn't be able to go on. So there's some issues there that we're going to be talking about. We also have Uber and Lyft driver pay in New York City's going up. We got Uber's back to showing the PAX receipts, listening to us when it comes to safety, and also, of course, our side hustle.
Yeah. So, hey, everybody. How's it going? So, you know, on that Uber and Lyft, the receipt, I have bad news, but I'll do it after we do the Uber receipt.
Okay.
You know, good things don't last with these guys. So,
no, they don't.
There may have been a temporary little, hey, look, you got the receipt back. Oh, never mind.
It's like the glitch of a multiplier surge ride versus flat rate. Like every once in a while, you'll see that multiplier versus the thing. So
yeah, I don't know what's going on. I mean, there, you know, I did a few deliveries this week. The app is really, really glitchy. It's not showing the map. Sometimes it's showing the map. I'm like, it's bad. But besides that, so yeah, Gabe is gonna come on. Gabe, don't be late. Bring your ukulele. He's a Grammy award-winning ukulele artist, so he has a performance for all of us.
Yeah, it's gonna be pretty interesting. I was able to see the. I didn't hear it. I was able to see what he's going to be singing for us. So that's going to be.
You did? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's going to be pretty cool. I got to say, you guys are in for a treat. So make sure you stay tuned to the end. Yes, go Bills. We're going to be talking about that in just a few minutes, especially with this snowstorm in Buffalo and Watertown and some of the Great Lakes area, especially when it comes to driving during these storms and things like that.
Yeah. And then if we do get a chance, by the way, let's answer some questions today too, because we somehow keep ignoring the certain messages, but so yeah, let's go. So
all right.
Michelle, we were going to talk about that actually, but thank you for mentioning it. Oh, now you're up to 200 lines, huh? You're the best. So this is what's happening, people. There are people who are actually listening and doing the spreadsheet that I'm doing myself, which is upfront earnings first, and then compare it to the old mile and minute rates. I've gotten 3 so far, very extensive, as probably more detailed than my own. Michelle is one of them, and I think we will have some sort of conclusion maybe once we reach a few hundred trips. I got one specifically from a San Francisco driver, Lyft driver, after upfront earnings showed up. This guy actually targeted 100 short trips. Like he did nothing but shorties because, according to the CEOs, short trips are supposed to pay more, right, Chris? And then, you know, long trips are supposed to pay less. Well, guess what? He did 100 short trips. He ended up making 8% less money. So we're all going to play this game with these guys until they understand that they're not pricing trips correctly, and Michelle's is correct, about 6% less since upfront. Look, 6% is a lot when we're dealing with inflation of 7 to 10%. So if you take both sides, that's 15%.
And not only that, take a look. She said she just put 200 lines. That means that's 200 trips right there.
Yeah.
200 trips, 6%. How much is that? That's quite a bit. That's going to add up.
Quite a bit. And Michelle, to her fault, she says, I'm for Micah because she has another job. She does this quite on a part-time basis. And she, her trips are XL, X, all mixture actually, which is better, right? And some are short, some are long, some are medium, but overall her numbers were 6% less. And if that's called rebalancing in their pocket, it's not a good situation. 6% is quite a bit. Well, so my numbers are actually higher. The driver from San Francisco's numbers are about 10%, and he just targeted short trips. 10%. So once I look, Chris, I mean, whatever data we put out.
10%. You said the 10% for the person in San Francisco. Is that 10% lower or 10% higher?
10% lower.
Okay.
On all short trips.
So you know how we were talking about a lot, and we were talking about significant, and how we need to have them define these terms. We need to also have them define rebalancing, because it seems like it's rebalancing the money from the trip into their pockets instead of our pockets.
Well, we did that math. We did the Uber math, right? So, 6% from me, 8% from you, 5% from the other guy. That's a lot of dollars, bro. Over 2.5 million drivers and 2 billion trips, right? So to me, whatever I put out, right, Uber and Lyft are going to come back and say, well, it's not a big enough sample size. It's not this, it's not that. I fully understand that, Uber and Lyft. However, if one driver targets only 100 short trips and he's down 10%, and you said short trips are going to pay more, it kind of gives me a clue that where things are moving, right?
Yep.
Either your algos are not pricing things short trips correctly, which you said they're going to pay more. Well, they're not at the moment. But again, that's one driver with 100 trips. And on my end, I'm short about 10 to 12%. Michelle is short 6%. All these percentages are short. I haven't seen one that's long, meaning more, right? So I'm like, maybe this upfront fares thing is a cut after all. Again, small sample size, but yeah.
Let's pretend it's election night, and votes are just coming in and they're declaring it already. We're going to use that kind of example right now. The results are coming in slowly, and just the beginning of them, and it's looking like it's a cut so far. So but there are definitely things that we are going to talk about that is going to help increase the pay, not decrease the pay. So this is something that drivers got to get on board about when it comes down to it. So we're going to be talking about that in a few minutes. You ready to get going though?
Yes, sir.
All right. That was our intro. All right. So for those who don't know, Sergio is in sunny LA. You got to worry about earthquakes and things like that coming. I am currently in Buffalo. So if you've listened to the news at all over the last several days, you probably have heard Buffalo brought up probably quite a few times in terms of the weather and the 8 feet of snow, 77 inches, 77.1 or something like that. I have the screenshot, was the max in Orchard Park. It's basically where the Bills play. So that is why the Bills had to move to Detroit for the game. And luckily they did and won. So go Bills. But let's talk about some things when it comes to the storm. So right here, what you see, this is Sergio. This is the screenshot that I sent you before the storm. This is as it was starting with the cars. So right there, you see on the left there is my Jeep Grand Cherokee. Behind that's a Honda CRV. And then on the right is a Camaro and a Ford 500. So you can still see the cars. They're a little bit covered and all that. But this is the first bit. You were texting me and saying, "Hey, how's it going over there?" So this is the calm before the storm. And then later that night, snowband went north. So you can see right there's the lake across the street on the right-hand picture. And you see the windmills in the corner. And then Buffalo, you can't see the city right now because that's where the snowband is. But That is just the beginning. So let's move on to what it looked like on the app. So you see, that is the app for Buffalo, and this was surge. Now, normally you don't see that much surge there. And if you look, you see $11 is the highest, $8.75, $7. Oh, I'm sorry, no, $13 in downtown Buffalo is actually the highest. $8.25, $4.25, $4.75. So not that much. But again, it was just the beginning of the storm. So people were out driving if you wanted to, but if you did, you ran into problems. The problem with lake effect snow, especially this type, is you can't drive in it because you are going to get stuck. And this is the same thing like with hurricanes. So you're probably like, why the hell are we talking about snowstorms? The hurricanes, flooding, different things like that, where in the matter of minutes to hours, things could substantially change. Sure, that picture right there looks like, hey, that's not that bad. I could go driving in that. You know, I got all-wheel drive or something. That's not bad. The thing is, though, the next morning,
Jesus Christ, bro.
that is the next morning,
God.
literally. So the picture on the left that you see, that is us shoveling out the cars. That is the gate on the side, on the left side with the shovel there to give you a perspective. And that Honda that I was talking about, that is to the right there. And then
what Honda?
Yeah, what Honda? Exactly. Here's a fun fact. So I have two cars. I have a Grand Cherokee and I have a Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution. The Mitsu is on the right-hand picture where you could see the two garbage cans there. The snow wall that's next to it, you could see the little hole. If you can see that little hole, not the leaf that's sitting right there, but the little hole, that's my car. That's my other car sitting underneath the snow.
Oh my God, bro.
So that is.
I mean, I don't know how you guys deal with it. All power to you guys. I wouldn't be able to do it.
It was rough. But let me tell you, the thing is, though, that right there was probably 4 feet of snow. I'm sorry, about 3 to 4 feet of snow that fell. And this is just overnight. So the picture that I first showed you of the cars, that was probably about 8 o'clock at night or something here. This was in the morning. This was, we woke up, looked outside. This is where we had to go. And this was only the first day of the storm, of a 3-day storm. So you can see how much snow can actually fall in the matter of a couple of hours. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this up, especially when it comes to driving Uber, when it comes to driving Lyft, DoorDash, all of these different platforms, when you are dealing with extreme circumstances and weather, this is where I say, yeah, the map out there could be showing surge, and you could be getting that all night, pretty much on every single ride that you're taking. But the thing is, in the matter of a couple of hours, you will not be able to drive. In fact, you will probably be stuck, like several cars were. You go out there, you have a snowband that's dumping 3 inches per hour. 3 inches is, ground clearance to the point where plows can't keep up with it, and cars will get stuck. Trucks and SUVs will be okay for another hour. But once that happens, then now your trucks and your SUVs are getting stuck. And then on top of that, after that, plows are going to get stuck, which they did. So you can see 3 feet of snow falls in a 12-hour period. You have several problems. So yeah, you could go out there and make a little bit of money, but it's not worth it in the end.
Yeah, I don't think that surge. Those surge numbers are not enough for all that snow, bro.
No, not at all. And then the next picture right here is clearing out, and this is going from the back end. So what you see right there, you see we're clearing this driveway out. Pretty much you can only get one lane. So the two cars on the left, the Camaro is up front by the garage. The Ford 500 is behind that. Then you got the CRV, and then the Jeep is in front of that. So, and then the Mitsu is in between the garage and the house. And that just goes to show you how much craziness that is.
Yeah. Good. Well, I'm glad everybody's safe, because this is crazy. I mean,
unfortunately, a couple people did die from the storm. There were a lot of emergencies when plowing and shoveling and all that, with the weight of the snow and things like that. But here's the road. This right here is the road. So this exactly what road. Now, what they did was in storms like this, they will send down an emergency plow, which is basically they will only shovel off the top half of the snow. And it's only for ambulances, fire trucks, police to be able to get there. And then if there's an emergency, they can, get there somewhat easy. You as a person just can't drive. Like I have a Jeep. I couldn't drive in that.
Yeah.
It's just saying. So that's the thing. This is how quick the storm can come and drop snow. So like, again, and hurricanes and things like that, where all of a sudden flooding can occur or backups can occur. And it's like, you got to figure out exactly what's going to happen. And should you go out there and do that? Or fires that we've seen people driving. I've seen, those, and it's like, holy crap.
I mean, it's like you guys are safe. That's the good thing. You stay safe. And when it melts, you get out there and make some money. But this is no condition to drive anything, let alone a car. Oh. So can I, can I interject here for a couple of seconds? Because I'm reading the comments on the right. So before we even get going with our segments, so I'm going to say this one more time, and I think we need to put this to bed. Last week on the episode, I talked about the so-called strike and the leader of the strike, whoever it is, and whatever they are. Look, our destination is the same when it comes to, because we almost got called out. I mean, I would say getting called out because I don't want to see my face plastered on somebody else's channel, right? And the people that are supporting the strike, we're behind you. Do whatever you like to do. We're just not thinking that the idea of a strike is functional and doable in the circumstances that we live in at the moment. As being part of two strikes myself, they're not effective. What they do is they get a few headlines, and then people will move on. And Uber and Lyft are still here, and they're bigger than ever. So to me, creating some riff or tiff between rideshare YouTubers back and forth is not the way to do this. The way to do this is, for me anyway, is to not accept garbage trips that Uber are sending you. Go on strike on an hourly basis, on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, by not accepting these trips. Because these strikes that, I'm in LA, there are 150,000, maybe 200,000 drivers in LA County, not on a constant basis, but, they float around. Maybe 1,000, couple thousand will get out there, a couple of news headlines will come out, nothing will change. So to me, strike is not the way to hit these companies in their pockets. Not accepting their trips that are garbage is the way to hit them in the pockets. The other thing is when someone, I know this happened to the DoorDashers, they all got into a little, argument back and forth, or this is good, this is bad, this is not good. To me, everybody has their opinions. And then what happens is that I think our destination should be the same, but our paths to that destination are quite different. So we have our path, and we're going to stick to that path. And I think it's a lot more effective of a path as opposed to, grabbing some news headlines. I talk to journalists every day, and they ask me about it. If anybody was going to strike, it should have been Rideshare Drivers United. I spoke to Nicole. They decided not to participate in it. The people who are participating in it, we know Thorsten, our friend at the Rideshare Professor, and Rideshare Hub. Rideshare Hub, I don't even consider a channel, to be honest with you, mostly clickbait stuff. Professor, I respect. I text to him. I talk to him. Again, with much respect. I think our destination is the same, except that our path towards that destination is quite different. So to me, negative sells. You can put out all the negative stuff out there. You get a few subs, you get a few more views. It's all good. But I think our way of doing it is it's going to be a lot more consistent and successful on a longer term basis, as opposed to be grabbing a couple of headlines. Because I saw, a couple of comments, which I respect and appreciate. And then I just want to respond to that, get that out of the way. The other thing is, to me, the most important thing is, like when when they say we don't talk about safety, I don't think there's any other channel that talks more about safety than we do. In fact, there were a couple of good developments as far as I'm concerned this week that have showed up in everybody's app. I think we had something to do with it. I think our town halls had something to do with it. And now, if you believe it or not, Uber is getting rid of all the passengers with bullshit names. So to me, I think we're doing some good. Amongst some good, there will be disagreements, but those disagreements does not mean that we just go, call each other out and become children. Really, we're not in high school. We're all adults. We're agree to disagree and we move on. So that's my piece, and that'll be the last piece that I talk about. I know there are a couple other channels who put out some videos that are against the strike. I appreciate the support, but it's not being against or for. It's what we could do in unison to hurt these companies in the pocketbook. The only thing you can do is the app that you have in your hand. That's your tool. That tool, the only thing that they're giving you as an independent contractor is when to turn your app on and when to turn it off. They call it flexible. Well, use the tool against them. Do not accept garbage trips and go on 2-hour strikes when they keep sending you, 8-mile, $4 trips. Don't accept. Is somebody going to accept it? Probably. But if you spread the word around, post it on your Facebook community groups, uberpeople.net, wherever that may be, spreading the word and teaching people how not to accept why not to accept these garbage trips is more important than, having a couple of journalists interview you that you're announcing a strike. Strikes don't do anything. They're not effective, my opinion again. Some people think otherwise. And again, lastly, our destination is the same. We're trying to get the drivers in a better way and make more money. And these companies have their own agendas. Just because somebody's calling for a strike, they're not going to bend over. So, and being tough and, talking shit about these companies is all good. We do it all the time. I mean, I don't think not another channel talks more shit about these companies than I do. We point out the good, we point out the bad. We just, have the drivers make their own opinion. So that's it. So let's get into our show.
Well, I'm gonna take one thing at it as well too. I agree with everything you said, Sergio. And again, when it comes down to what's going on this week, hey, if you want to go for it, go for it. If you don't, that's on you. Everybody is in the business for themselves. And if you want to go out and make money, it's going to be pretty good. You got a lot of people traveling, you got a lot of things going on, and there's a lot of things happening. So you want to make money, great. This is probably a good time to go out there. If you want to stay home and you want to be, on that fence and say, hey, this is what's going to happen. I'm not going out there because of whatever reason, then cool. Hey, you do you, I do me. I'm happy with that. Yep. The whole thing is, yes, we want to make things better for everybody, especially for drivers. We talk about the ways and the strategies that you can implement to help maximize your earnings, but we're also taking it further now by really deep diving into these whole machine learning algorithms and stopping new requests that we talked about and things like that, where you can protest. Again, that's the word I'm going to use as well, as somebody else had mentioned earlier. I'm going to use protest because that's exactly what it is. You want to talk about a strike, you look at the rail race strike that's probably going to be happening very soon. And then you come back to me and talk about a real strike.
Yeah.
Protest. Well, everybody should protest on the fact of, yes, if you get a shit offer, don't take that ride. Tell the algorithm, tell Uber, tell Lyft, I am not worth that. You are giving me shit rides. I'm not going to take that. You want to offer me something that's worth my time, something that is going to be acceptable, then I'm going to take that. But I'm not going to lower my value of who I am and lower my value standards because you're offering shit rides. So if you want to protest on a ride by ride basis and continue that every single time you're out on the app.
Whether it's on Uber, whether it's on
other apps.
Yeah, the other thing that that does, Chris, is that a lot of people, I mean, this is a two-sided marketplace, right? There are the passengers on one side, there's the driver on the other side, and Uber is in between. Okay. So when you do not accept those trips, Uber systems cannot create drivers out of thin air. It just can't. It's just not possible because there are a certain amount of drivers on a localized basis, on a statewide basis. They can't just have people just come on board, you know, in 2 minutes that 1,000 requests are coming in. Now, this is what's going to happen. If you do request, if Uber sends you a garbage request and you decline that, the passenger is going to wait longer. If the passenger wait times go higher, Uber has to do something about it, because Uber only cares about the golden goose that lays the golden egg, which is the revenue source, which is the passenger. When passengers start complaining to Uber saying that I'm waiting 8, 10, 12 minutes for a trip now because all the drivers in the area decline these garbage offers that are attached to this passenger's request, that's when you're going to create the change, because Uber is not going to listen to the driver saying, pay me more. Their ideas are diametrically opposed to us, meaning we want to make more, Uber wants to make more. But there's the passenger in between. So now I feel bad for the passengers, because if we do decline these trips, the passenger wait times for pickup is going to go through the roof. And it is happening. How's it happening? I'm reading on the comments. You know, everybody's acceptance rates are in the toilet, right? So if everybody's acceptance rates are going down to the toilet, who is accepting these trips? So as people who watch us and listen to us, the biggest, you know, the favor that you can do to yourselves and to your city drivers and to anybody out there who is driving rideshare is spread the word that this is the only way. You know, passengers are going to get hurt. I agree that passengers are going to start waiting longer and longer and longer for trips, because out of the blue now, how can Uber equalize this play field? Well, if there are 100 drivers in a neighborhood and all of them are not accepting these garbage trips, and let alone forget all of them, half of them, Uber algorithm is going to put the surge on. So you're automatically going to start making more money, and then you're going to go pick up somebody and figure out what you're worth for that trip. So this is how we can play this game, right? Because the only thing we have, the power, the stone we have in our hand is actually their own weapon, which is the app. I'm not going to accept. And now with upfront fares, you can decline all the goddamn trips you want on the planet without punishment. Well, let the passengers wait a little bit longer. Yep. Let them wait, instead of 6 minutes, let them wait 12. Well, guess what's going to happen? That passenger is going to go to Lyft. Uber is going to say, why are my passenger pickup times going through the roof now? Well, they are because the drivers are not accepting these garbage trips that are sending you. I do understand there are certain parts of drivers that accept everything without even looking. That's where we need to work on collectively as a community. We need to teach, educate, inform drivers that it's okay not to accept every trip. It's okay.
Yep.
And once you do that, and once you affect the passenger that pays Uber's bills, because to us as drivers, to Uber, we're a nuisance. We're an expense. They're paying us. The driver is the golden goose. Never been the driver. I mean, the passenger is the golden goose. So when the passenger gets pissed off and starts using other means of transportation, maybe Lyft, maybe limos, maybe cabs, maybe whatever it is, and Uber's revenues start declining, and they're going to go, wait a minute, there's something going on here. Why is in LA, let's say, in Santa Monica, why are my passenger wait times going through the roof? Yeah, because there are 300 drivers sitting in Santa Monica saying, decline, decline, decline. I'm worth more than this, decline. And those passengers who are going to go to LAX, they're all going to miss their flights because nobody's taking on those flights. So Uber cannot create out of the Pacific Ocean 300 drivers to, create enough supply of drivers to match with that demand, because the demand is constant. It's always going to be there. That's where we can hurt these people. We can't hurt these people.
Not only that, but there's two things that you as drivers can do that we all can do. And first off, it is, stop new requests, because again, it's going to base it on how many available drivers there are. So if you stop new requests, it's going to say there's a driver that's offline, even though you're giving a ride, you're offline after that fact, and the algorithm is going to look at it.
Talk about that. Yeah.
So this is one of the topics we're going to be talking about, but this is one of the two ways that we can actually help get it higher. So that is going to say, well, how many ride requests are coming in? Let's say there's 1,000 ride requests in your area coming in. Let's say there's 800 drivers. That means there's surge. That means it's going to start getting higher demand, and you're going to automatically get that surge. So if you had not put those stop new requests coming on, and then you get dinged all the time with all these requests coming in, which kind of helps alleviate that and makes it much safer, then once you drop that passenger off, You go back online and you might be in a surge zone now. If you can get more and more people in your area to do that, that is going to help create surge. That's going to be more on demand.
Yeah. I mean,
And on top of that, we're going to, again, it's cutting out those crappy requests that are coming in and saying, I'm not going to take those. Those acceptance rates drop. The algorithm has to say, what can I do? Well, it has to bump up the pay that it's giving drivers.
Well, no, but you know what, Chris? It doesn't have to, because now we're going to be at a Mexican standoff. Okay, the algorithm says, "Screw you! You're only worth $4 for 8-mile trip." I'm going like, no, I'm not worth that. I'm worth 12. So you know, maybe that negotiation will take place. Maybe it will not. But what will happen for sure is that when the demand stays constant through passenger requests and not enough supply is there, you know, Uber calls this dynamic pricing. Surge will automatically get created. Now, I don't know how many people who watch us, you know, for the last 6 months even understand how the surge algorithm works. You know, maybe next week we'll take some time and with screenshots we'll explain it to you guys how the surge algorithm is. If you really understood that it doesn't take all drivers to log off to create surge, you guys will be all behind me saying that, you know what, let's just try this on a localized basis. Everybody become a leader of a driver group in a local basis. I'm not talking like Santa Monica. Pick a couple of leaders, follow that leader. That guy is going to take you to the promised land through surge. Or if you're in West Hollywood, try that, because there is not infinite number of drivers in these localized areas. You can hit him like, you know, call this a body punch, call this a body shot. Hit him in Hollywood, hit him in Santa Monica. And I'm talking my city, LA. Every city has their own spots, hot spots, we call it. Hit him at LAX, hit him at, you know, Inglewood, and hit him in downtown LA. Well, you know what's going to happen? These passengers are going to go, well, screw this. I'm missing my goddamn appointment. Where's my car? I was getting it in 5. Now I'm getting it at 12. Now the algorithm is going to go, okay, my passengers are unhappy. My golden goose is very unhappy. How can I make my golden goose happy? Well, you have to make your golden goose happy by making me happy. Pay me what I'm worth so I can go pick up your passenger. Okay, so that's how we're going to play this game. It's a long game. Well, I have the bigger picture in mind. Some people have the, you know, smaller pixels in the big picture. I'm not looking at small pixels. I'm looking at much bigger picture, which is going to take a little bit more time, obviously, because everybody, you know, in this day and age have zero patience. Everything should be done yesterday. Everything should take, you know, it doesn't work like that. This is not a TikTok video we're playing here. What we're doing is we're giving you some solutions. And if you do follow these things, I think we will have success, as opposed to, you know, just some clickbait bullshit that people put out there. And then they go, this is what we do. They all get hot and bothered, play with their emotions. I'm like, yeah, that's all good. But, you know, it's not for me. So,
yeah. And, you know, next week, tell me what it did.
Yeah. And then next week, you know what? I am going to explain actually, people, because it takes quite a bit of time for people to get it. Because I've spoken to transportation department officials, and they exactly know how the Uber density is and what it needs to be done to create surge. And once I explain that to you guys, you know, maybe we'll create a team of leaders, and then local basis. Every city in Chicago, there's local groups. Maybe you get a local 100 drivers together. They're all are in the same area. Boom. Let's create some surge for ourselves. It is not illegal. Now, if you do this in the airports, people try to do this in DC, in O'Hare, that's not public property. At airports, they can deactivate you for surge, you know, creating your own surge, meaning logging off altogether and logging on altogether. That's been done. That's been said. That's not public property. That's airport property that the queue is in, okay? What Uber can do is Uber can go to airport police and say, you know what, go to these assholes and tell them to turn their apps on while they're sitting in the queue. Well, we used to do that in LA. Pretty soon, what happened? LAX police showed up, forced everybody out who didn't have their apps on, and then only left people with apps on. Yeah, but you know what? Santa Monica sidewalks are public property. Uber cannot do shit. Uber cannot do send me Santa Monica police and saying that, Serge, turn your app on. I go, you go fuck yourself. That doesn't work like that. So we know what we can do. I have a plan. You know, I have the much bigger picture in mind. You can get all hot and bothered now, play this pissing race between this channel, that channel. We're not in it for that. We're in it for explaining, educating, informing. You take it the way you want it. You don't like it? There's the other channel. No problem. So I think we got delayed. So let's get into our, you know, screenshots. And because I really want to talk about this poor driver, what this guy's goddamn going through in Texas, bro.
Oh,
Which
so
I'm like, I don't even know what to do. I mean, I usually don't get like dumbfounded. But this is, I'm like, if look, anybody watching now who can help this guy, please help this guy. So
Okay, so
you set it up. Yeah, you go ahead and set
let's
this up.
fill in what the story is first, and that is so actually, you know what, you explain it because you're the one who got the email first, and then we'll play the video to show exactly what's going on. And if anybody else has this issue, you know, let us know because we're trying to figure out exactly what it is, if it's a glitch, exactly what it is, and how many people might be affected by it.
Yep. So we have heard that since upfront pricing, right, Uber is kicking you offline, which is fine, you know, and then you just go right back on, right? You know, they send you that warning saying, do you want to stay online? It doesn't seem like you're accepting trips. I'm like, no, I want to go offline, whatever. This gentleman is in Dallas, obviously. He reached out to me with this short screen recording of his. So what's happening to this gentleman is, please, if anybody knows the cure for this, please, let's help this guy, okay? Because I don't know what to do. Honestly, don't know what to do. And usually I know some things, but this is beyond my pay grade. So this guy has upfront fares, obviously, and destination. Once he declines 3 trips in a row, not only he's getting kicked offline, but Uber is logging him out of the system. Now, you could say that's still not a big nuisance. I can put my, ID and password in, log back right back in, right? Still a nuisance, but let's say it's not. No, this guy, they're logging him off for 3 hours every time after he declines 3 requests to the clock on the hour. And then 3 hours later, he can log back in. Unfortunately, his car is in the shop. He's on a Hertz Tesla rental, paying through the nose for that car. And every 3 hours, every time he declines 3 trips in a row, he's offline for another 3 hours. So he's in a huge pickle. You know what I'm saying? So Uber, if you're watching this, please fix this guy's app. I'm serious. I mean, this is ridiculous. Okay, here's what happens. That was the first trip.
This is going to show exactly what's going on.
Yeah.
So for those who are listening, basically it's just showing the screen video of him getting ride requests coming in.
That was the second request. Yeah, that was the second request. He's not touching his screen. Nothing else is happening. So decline 2. That's the third. Trip radar showed up. They're going to ping with him, obviously, pretty soon, in a second. And boom, that's the same trip they pinged with him. That's the third decline, right? He took actually one for the team. Now they're signing him out. Looks like you're not doing it. They're signing him out. Now he goes back to his driver app to sign on with his phone number and his credentials, right? Guess what? Look what it says. We are unable to log you in at this time. Please contact support. Well, when he clicks contact support, it kicks him right back to this screen for 3 hours. And then on the dot at 3 hours, they are allowing him to put his phone number in and continue, and he can log back in until he declines 3 in a row. So if anybody knows there's a solution for this, please email me, Sergio at therideshareguy.com. If anybody else in Dallas is experiencing this, if anybody else in any other city is experiencing this, because I talked to a shit ton of drivers after I got this, they're all saying, yeah, they're kicking me offline for like after 3 declines, but not for 3 hours. This is out of control. So Uber, if you're watching this, please, I mean, this guy's in Dallas, please reach out to me. Let's fix this guy's problem. The guy's going broke, driving a Tesla rental on top of that. You know, imagine how debilitating that is. I mean, you're paying $500 a month for the car. I mean, a week, and you can't even log on. I'm like, what the heck is going on, bro?
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, like we've seen where your screenshots when we go over them the last couple of weeks, where you'll decline or not accept, any rides that are 7, 8, 10 rides coming in. Nothing happens. But then we've seen Chicago, 3, and it'll pop up a little thing and it'll say, "Are you still driving?" And I'm sure pretty much everybody has seen that. But the fact that you're able to just get kicked off for 3 hours, put in the timeout for whatever reason, then oh my goodness, it's insane. Like how are you?
I told them what we said to other drivers. Click on the no more new requests so you don't get that situation. But he goes, some of the trips they're sending me, I have to decline these 3. Like Jack Bitten says, just don't let it get to 3. Well, if you don't want to let it get to 3, you have to accept the garbage trip that they're sending you, Jack. So to me, it's like, how do you deal with that, right? I mean, you are going to decline 3 in a row, because this is why, upfront fares and destination is a tool you could use to only do profitable trips. And there is no limitations, except maybe in this case, I tried everything with them on my own. I mean, I tried, uninstall, install, change settings, do whatever. Everything that I know I could do, I did. And you know, even in the Android, he has an Android, which I know very well. I gave him some other pointers. It's just not working every time. He declines 3 in a row. Boom, 3 hours, you're gone. I'm like, Jesus, goddamn Christ, you know. Yeah, that's easy to say. Palmetto Insurance Solutions. After you declines, what's happening is when those pings start coming in, he's in a big city of Dallas, and there are so many requests out there that the guy goes, Serge, I can't even do it fast enough. I can even go to the app and log. And by the way, going with that subject, there is almost like a counter, right? He goes, if I decline 2, go offline for a couple of minutes, come back on, and decline 1 more, they're logging me out. There's like a counter in the background, he goes. I'm like, this is bullshit. We got to fix this. So if anybody knows the solution for this, please fix it.
Yeah, and if anybody else has experienced something like that, please let us know. Email Sergio, and the biggest thing is take a screen recording of the exact same thing happening, because everything is done with pictures, with video, whatever it might be.
Yeah, Mr. Gambit 2000. I told him that, you know, Mr. Gambit, I told him that. I go, you know, don't click the X button. And on these 3 trips, he did not click the X button. The surge trip just went through. I don't know what to do. If anybody's experiencing it, please, Sergio@therideshareguy.com. Email me your video, email me your screenshot, whatever it is. I want to help this guy out. So,
all right. Well, moving on, we have our resident EV on. Gabe, what's going on?
Hey guys, how's it going? Sorry about the lateness and confusion.
No worries. Your audio is coming in a little crappy.
Is it really? Oh, here, I'm going to turn on the gain. How's that? You better?
Go a little bit more to your left, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, it's like I hear this weird echo or something, so I'm not sure.
I might make sure the right cameras.
Yeah, it's definitely picking up some sort of feedback. So you got something coming out.
Turn the weight gain way down. Like, don't turn it. How's that?
Yeah, Linda, he's working for Lyft as well, but as you know, with the Hertz rental, Tesla rental, he cannot do Lyft. So we're trying to get him a company that offers both Lyft and Uber.
No good?
No change. It sounds like some audio is playing out and then being picked up by the microphone as well.
No, Body XP, you're right. We're not independent contractors anyway, so we've been talking about that for years now. So they released Upfront fares and destination to make us look like quasi-independent contractors. We're still not independent contractors. So
let's see. How's this?
Same thing.
Same thing, yeah.
All right, hold on. Sorry for the technical difficulties. We're trying to. This is why we like.
When we come in.
I know. I know. Sorry about this.
Is that the list that he's talking about?
Huh? Okay. What's up, Serge?
No, I'm not hearing actually much of an echo, but I'm hearing definitely like
it's feedback.
Yeah, feedback. Yeah.
It's not. Yeah, it's not an echo. It's feedback. It just sounds like something.
He's not a new driver, Mr. Gabe 2000. He's been around for 5 years. I've gotten through all these things.
All right. How's not working? No, still no good.
Now, where's your mic in relation to?
It's pretty.
You might want to bring it a little closer to your mouth.
A little closer.
Yeah, that's probably what.
How's that?
Huh?
Is that better?
No, wow, that doesn't even change anything.
No. All right, let me just switch to the webcam mic.
Okay, let's do our thing until he fixes it. He'll jump in. So that's the driver. So what else we got next? We should.
All right, so let's go into. We'll talk about Lyft for a second.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the upfront earnings on Lyft side and the rebalancing there.
Yeah. Yeah, so, you know, I get these screenshots now, tons of them. I'm not sure those screenshots, but please keep sending them to me. So Lyft, now that I hit a cat. Oh, that's his cat? Okay. Hey, Vinny, what's up? Good to see you here. So these are some Lyft long trips. We talked about at the start of the show that this gentleman in San Francisco did 100 Lyft short trips, and he's about down 10%. So this rebalancing, it seems like only going rebalancing towards them as opposed to the driver. Well, look at these trips, right? And this guy also sent me, by the way, before Upfront, his rates were 58 cents a mile and 16 cents a minute. So any which way you look at it, none of these trips are acceptable. Okay. So here's one, 2 hours, 112.8 miles, $52. I mean, if anybody is doing these trips, I don't know what to tell you guys. I'm pretty sure I'm going to say something. Maybe it sounds mean, but you guys are all fucking mass challenged. If you cannot add 2 plus 2, bro, this is not a doable trip. Okay, the one in the middle, not a doable trip. The one on the right, maybe the most doable, but still not a doable trip.
For Serge, for those who are listening, we got to remember the people are listening too. So the first screenshot, let's go over. It's a ping request that came in from Sacramento to south of San Francisco. So it's a 112-mile trip, which is just shy of 2 hours, they're saying. And they're offering $52.71 with a $4.25 ride bonus.
Take that out, Chris. That's $48.
Yeah, take that off. You got $48 for 112 miles. That's 33 cents a mile or something, and that doesn't even include the 2 hour time.
Yeah.
Then the middle screenshot that we're talking about is it's again another $4.25 ride bonus. It's an hour and 43 minutes, 114.9 miles, and they're offering $63.06. So take out that $4.25 bonus, and you're under $60 for a 115-mile trip.
I mean, these are real trips, okay? So these exist in the platform. So somebody's be getting pinged with this, which this guy did 3 in a row or 4 in a row or 5, and these were I had like 10 of them, and I'm like, I picked 3. Good, bad, sideways. I mean, look, these are not doable trips. So, but somebody's going to take these on. And I'm like, yeah, okay, go ahead and do it. Lose money. So please don't be mass challenged. I mean, these are not doable trips. Do some math in your head. Lyft ping lasts 15 seconds. In 15 seconds, you can do math. Okay. If you took on the first screenshot, if you took $4.25 out of the fare, which gives you $48, and this trip most likely is going to be a no return or a dead mile return for you anyway, if you're starting in San Francisco and going all the way to wherever the heck you're going. And I'm going like, I mean, as it is, it's less than 40 cents. And then if you put the dead miles back in, you're literally losing money. I mean, I understand cash flow and all these problems people are having these days because of the economy or whatever. But please don't do these trips. These are not doable trips. You guys are losing money, period. So there you go.
It's I mean, you look at them and that's just crazy. And then the third screenshot on this particular one, it's an hour 6 minutes, 68.8 miles for $45.69 with a $4.75 $4.75 ride bonus.
Yeah, that's $40 for 70 miles.
$31, and it's almost 70 miles.
Yeah, I mean,
and
so we talked about this. Like, I don't think any driver is worth this money. I think this driver is worth a lot more. And if you take these trips, right, converted to the old miles and minute rates, they're all 30% less, all of them, right? So this guy had a 58 cents a mile and 14 cents a minute. Okay, if you take 112 miles on the first screenshot, Chris, if you just took the 113 miles, multiply it, right, times 56 cents, which was his mileage rates before upfront fares, right? Just that alone is like $60. Forget the 2 hours that we're going to add on top of the, right, at 16 cents a minute. This trip is like, with mile and minutes, this would have been maybe like $80, $85 offer to the driver, and now it's 52. I'll go like, what kind of haircut is that? I was like, come on, man. Yeah. So please don't do these trips, people. They're bad for your pocket, for your car, for everything. And so some of these are my screenshots. I went out the other day to get some offers, and I'll give you the quick rundown on these, right? All 3 of them had a little bit of a bonus in it. Oddly enough, the one in the middle I would do, because it's going to take me 10 minutes for $6, including $3.25 surge, because in LA, the minimum is $2.62, believe it or not, guys. $2.62. Yeah, it is. It is what it is. And then the other one on the left would have been at least $2.50 more, because if you took the surge out, that's down to 17. And on the one on the right would have been about $1.50 more. I haven't run into any trips, man. I'm taking screenshots and killing my phone and killing my brain with it. I haven't run into too many situations, except a couple, that the Uber algo is charging so much to the passenger, or the Lyft algo is charging so much that they decide to share the wealth with you, and then it doesn't make sense. It almost looks like a hidden surge like the old days. And I go,
Hmm.
I got to take this one because this makes a lot of sense. But you got to do some quick math. So please, drivers, please do your math. Please take all the 15 seconds that you have on the ping screen for Lyft and 10 seconds for Uber. Please take all that 10 seconds. Don't just click willy-nilly at it, looking at just a dollar number, because some of these trips, you're losing money. You're not losing money. You're generating some revenue, but they're not doable trips. They're, unless you think this is what you're worth, then knock yourselves out and do it. And that's the problem we're having. So yeah, these are not for me either, except the one in the middle. I would take on that short one, and no problem. The other ones, not so much. Half hour worth of work for $13. So this is another thing, Chris. I'm wondering, you know what? I was thinking about this yesterday. I said, I wonder why everybody's acceptance rates are collapsing. Because guess what? The trips that they were doing before, they saw the destination of the passenger, were the exact same offers that they were getting to a point, okay? So now seeing the destination, is this really, really making them evaluate that true offer? Because they were doing these same trips like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, a month ago, before Upfront showed up, right? Now are they really saying, man, I've been doing these garbage trips for years. Now I see the destination. I should have never done those. Is that why you think the acceptance rates are collapsing? Because people are really paying attention to, this is not doable situation for me, and they're passing on to it because now they know where they're going. Because as we know, we didn't know where we were going with Lyft, and in most cases we didn't know where we were going with Uber. So
honestly, I don't want to speak for other drivers, but if I had to infer, I think a lot of drivers are looking at the map and saying that's not worth it when they look at the map, versus actually like breaking down. I don't know if drivers are actually fully breaking down in the time frame that they have when the ping comes in. But it does take training, and you have to figure out and look exactly where things are, and try to do these simple calculations as quick as you can, to see if it's going to be something that's worth it or not for you.
Oh, look who's here, Chris. Look who's here. Zoom is here.
Yep.
Finally, you woke up. Hey, buddy.
No more little sleep, huh?
no more nap for him today. He's not napping today. So yeah, so these are some examples of Lyft Upfront, but I'm gonna have to point something out. Now, you have those two screenshots that I sent you, right? With the Lyft Upfront and the Uber Upfront side by side, right? Yeah, there you go. Now, once you accept the trip, Lyft has something actually superior with the Upfront than Uber does. So these are second stage. These are the stages of the trip that you have accepted the request already, okay? Once you go and push those three lines on the lower right-hand corner of the app, this screen will pop up. This is on your way to pickup, okay? This is on your way to pickup. Uber's information is pretty vague, actually, because now you have to remember the upfront fare that you were offered for this trip. It doesn't say that. It tells you where to pick up the passenger, right? It gives you the rating, and if they're, that's it. It doesn't say anything else. This is on the way. This is period 2, people. On pick after request accepted, on the way to the passenger to pick up. On the right-hand side is the Lyft screen. Well, I think I like that a lot better because it shows what the trip came in at, the upfront fare, $11.13, the pickup point, the drop-off point. It gives you pretty much all this information. So even on your way there, you can maybe decide to cancel this trip, right? But on the Uber's case, they don't show you much. They just show you where the pickup is, the rating, and that's about it. So you really have to remember what Uber was paying you for that upfront fare. And if you're doing 20, 30, 40, 50, I think Lyft is far superior on the way to the passenger in period 2, right?
Oh yeah, because you see all that info right there. Yeah. I mean, you just look at the two. What one looks better? Yeah. Clearly, the Lyft side is much better. And again, for those who are actually listening to this on the podcast, or if you're just not paying attention to the video because you're just playing it, whatever, it's just the screenshots. Like Sergio said, it's basically when you accept the ride, you're en route to the passenger, and if you are clicking on the 3 little dots on the bottom there and pulling up the menus for the ride itself, that is what we're looking at.
Yeah, I think this is so far superior than to Uber's on period 3 and period 2. Period 3, you know, you're going to see the same thing.
And then you know what? Also, actually, you know what? Let's go to the next screenshots. This is the actual upfront earnings when the ping request actually comes in.
So on this one,
Ubers versus Lyfts.
And guess what? You know what? I almost picked identical chips. These are all my own screenshots. And they're both going to Hollywood Burbank Airport, right? From where I was. Oddly enough, they both gave me this trip, right? So this is Uber's upfront pricing for a 11-mile, 21-minute trip. If you added the pickup, that's 26 minutes and 13 miles for $10.29, which includes the 55-cent fuel surcharge, by the way, people. So this trip is about $9.75, and Gabe is shaking his head. And then on the right-hand side is almost the identical trip. If you guys look at it, just the pickup is a little bit longer on the Lyft screen. So Lyft with the $275 bonus is paying me $11. So the Lyft is paying me a little bit more for this trip than Uber was. It's quite a bit more, actually, $1.50 more. I still wouldn't do both because it's half hour of work for $13.76 gross, right? Now, what the difference is, see, on this one, Uber for me is superior on the ping screen, right? Because it gives you the exact address of the pickup point, because for veteran drivers, this is important. If you know your city well, you know these streets well, and it also gives you the exact drop-off address. On Lyft, it just says 10 minutes, and then you got the map, obviously the colorful map with the pink and the purple. I get that, but if you're a newbie and you don't know where things are at yet in your city, this is more difficult for me to read. So Lyft is superior on the way to the passenger to pick up, and Uber's ping screen on the initial ping that comes in, I think for me is superior because I know my city well. I know a lot of crossing streets. So I think it's an easier map to read and then easier to reposition yourself. But these both trips I wouldn't have accepted irregardless. Yeah.
Now, I want to ask the chat, what do you think? Do you like Uber's ping screen better or Lyft's? Now, you just said yours. Gabe, will ask you yours in a second. For me personally, I like Lyft's. All right, here we go. I like Lyft's look better, but I like Uber's info a lot more because, again, it gives you that street pickup drop off, so you don't have to look at the map if you don't want to. So it just gives you that better option. So I like the layout though of Lyft's better. I just like the info that Uber has more.
Yeah, Uber has.
But, then Gabe, what do you think?
What do you think, Gabe? Okay, now we can't hear you at all.
Gabe's muted. You gotta unmute yourself. You gotta unmute there you go.
How's it? An echo?
No, go ahead.
No echo?
We hear you good.
Okay. No echo.
No, you're good.
Okay, anyway. No, was it Tolstoy who said every happy family is the same and every unhappy family is different in their own miserable ways. Like they both have advantages and disadvantages, but since I use Uber so much more than Lyft, I think I'm just more comfortable with Uber's just because I'm better at reading the information at a glance. But I agree, it does give you more information. I do think that Uber rewards a more experienced driver, geographically speaking. What do you think?
Yeah. Can you raise your volume a little bit more because you're kind of faint?
Oh, it's because I'm using.
Much better. Much better.
Yeah.
All right. Did you hear me?
We want to hear your singing voice pretty soon. So
yeah, you gotta get the vocal acoustics and all that ready. So
I just gotta make sure that hopefully
So would you do either of these trips, Gabe?
No.
Hell no.
Because they both go to an airport. Although the Uber one doesn't tell me it goes to the airport.
It says Burbank Airport down the bottom. It says Burbank Airport.
But I like how the Lyft. It says airport drop off. It's good to know because I took my stickers and I threw my airport placard away.
Okay, you're faint again. You need to move forward.
You got either speak up or move.
Or bring the microphone closer to you.
It's because I'm using the webcam mic.
Okay.
There you go. Oy vey. All right, hang on a second.
Yeah.
All right.
This is why we like to run through things beforehand so everybody
Yes,
knows.
sir. Yeah.
We're blaming Gabe on this one completely.
Yeah, we're gonna run you over on this one. You know how this is gonna be once we hang up, right?
Is this better at all?
Yeah,
a little
it's
bit.
fine.
Yeah.
Are you getting the echo though?
No.
No echo?
This is what we're gonna stick with.
Okay, good.
So
All right.
because we want to get on with the show. We don't want to be
All
fucking
right.
around with shit.
John,
So.
no, this Gabe is not in my market. Gabe is the king of San Francisco. I'm
Well,
the
I don't
king
know
of
if I'm
LA.
the
He's the
king.
king of San Francisco.
I don't know if I'm the king.
Yes, you are.
There's
Don't be
no-
Well,
modest. Yes,
some
you
of them
are.
for sure.
You're a goddamn veteran, bro. Come on now.
Mhm. Well, yeah, 8 years, 60,000, 15 years, 60,000 rides. It's true.
60,000?
Yeah, between taxi, Uber, and
Oh,
Lyft in
yeah.
15
No,
years
no,
of
I'm
driving.
talking the apps. I'm talking the apps.
Oh, yeah. Well, about 30,000, I guess. Well,
God
yeah,
damn. See? There you
Oh,
go.
more.
That's
Yeah.
the man right there. He's
35,000.
the man in San Francisco.
He's got more rides than both you and me put together.
Yeah,
Yes,
but
definitely so.
there's guys with double my rides, so
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
they're out
But
there.
so Gabe, so you're our, on RSG, you're our resident EV specialist.
Yeah.
And you drive EVs. You tested every goddamn EV out there.
Well,
So
bunch.
pretty much.
Yeah.
So you run. Are you running the Facebook group, EV group as well?
That's right. You want me to? I'll post a link to the EV
Yeah,
Facebook
post all this
group
stuff because it's a hot topic, man. So we had you on like 3 months ago, and
Yeah.
so what has changed? First of all, I had a question the other day that I could not answer. The guy was asking me, or a driver was asking me, is the EV credit going to be continued? Do you have any insight on that?
The EV credit from Uber.
Yes.
I asked one of Uber's media flacks, are you going to discontinue the EV bonus after December 31st? And he said, well, we don't have any plans to discontinue it at this time. So, which is kind of like, nobody doesn't like Sarah Lee in terms of clarity of response, but typical Uber response, like, well, we're not going to not have it continuing forward after next month, maybe
the double negative, triple negative.
So I don't know, but it's hard for them to have any credibility coming, and Lyft also. I mean, both these companies, they're putting a lot into their we're going to decarbonize by 2030 strategy. At least that's Uber's.
When is Uber's date for going all electric? The whole fleet? When is it?
They said 2030.
Bullshit. That's not happening.
Well, that's
this
what
guy on the
do.
right is about to buy an ICE vehicle.
Who knows what's going to happen? The way Uber's PR department and the way Uber's board and all their senior executives probably see the world is, who knows if the world will be here in 2030, much less Uber. So,
all right, Gabe, I got to ask you a question. You're going to have more insight on this. Prop 30 and the 50 around $50 million that Lyft spent on it, while Uber said, we're not even going to touch this. What's your thoughts on that? And why would Lyft dump money on that? Not only for it to fail, but, just in general.
Well, I think Lyft had I think Lyft's political consultants and other operatives had a lot of confidence from Prop 22. Prop 22, of course, you may not know, was the ballot initiative that Uber and Lyft and DoorDash and Grubhub and the others put about $230 million into. One of the biggest ballot initiative in California history, most money spent. And that was to change state law to permanently make us independent contractors. And then also create a system so that Sergio could squeeze some extra money out of Uber. But they must have been feeling very confident, like, oh, well, if we want something to happen, then you just pay a bunch of consultants a bunch of money and then it'll happen because we can get the voters to vote for anything. And the problem is, I think, from what I can tell, is Gavin Newsom is the governor, and he's pretty politically savvy, and he can marshal a lot of power politically. And he came out against Prop 30, and that with the kind of conservative, hesitancy towards raising taxes on anybody, because Prop 30 had a big, tax increase built into it for people making over $1 million or $10 million a year.
Not driver's concern.
No, that's definitely not mine.
It was supposed to go towards
Maybe
drivers to be
Sergio's.
able to purchase
Yeah,
EVs.
not mine either, buddy. Even with the Prop 22 money, not mine. I'm not there yet. So
You know, I mean, but it's so mean spirited and cheap for Lyft to not just chip in $1 the way Uber's been doing, like for at least 5 or 6 years. They started doing it in England first.
Before I forget, have you seen what Gabe has been? I mean, Chris has been under for the last like 2 weeks. He's like under 8 foot of snow.
Oh, really?
I asked him this question. I'm going to ask you since you're expert. Literally, he had like 5 foot of snow covering his car. You couldn't see the car. It's like literally just done. It's like a mountain of snow. So what would happen to an EV under those circumstances? Like, what will happen?
It would be very cold inside.
No, I get that.
Although the snow is insulating. The EV, if the EV wasn't kept on battery power, the battery
right there.
Yeah,
there's a car somewhere there.
Yeah, if you have your car parked out in that, if you have an EV parked out in that kind of snow for an extended period of time, the EV is it's gonna turn on the battery heating system to keep the battery at a stable temperature. So obviously that's gonna sap your battery.
Okay. So that's it. That's the worst that could happen.
The battery. Yeah, you'll park it and like a week later you'll go outside and your battery will be down 60-70%.
Okay.
Just from it being parked. So that's why, and that's why they tell you to and then if you let it drain all the way, if you just forget about your car out in the cold, without it being plugged in, you could potentially damage the battery.
Okay. So so tell us about the latest news about EVs. I know you're bagging a Bolt EUV, right?
I know. Yeah, I sold my Tesla and I bought another Bolt EUV. Of course, we can link the story and video about my Bolt EUV.
Absolutely.
And I just don't have a need for a long range EV now. On our Uber and Lyft EV group, and by the way, I want to give a shout out to everyone. Everyone who is joining us, especially Will Connor. Thank you for coming out and saying hi and checking out the live stream from the EV group. But from what I've been learning from them is that a lot of EV drivers, they really do need a lot of range. Not everyone can use the same strategy. My strategy is to do lots of little trips. I can do 60 or more rides on one full charge in my car, which is going to be multiple days of driving for me. But a lot of drivers, they can't do that, or they won't do that, or that's not the optimum strategy for them. So they really do need a car that either has a lot longer range than my Bolt or has access to very fast charging, like a Tesla, like the new Hyundai Kia platform. Otherwise, it just doesn't make sense. And the number one thing I always tell people when they're considering using an EV for rideshare is it's got to make sense for you and your driving situation.
Yeah. I think if you're like in rural areas or whatever, EVs don't make sense at all. But if you're in San Francisco, LA, certain busy cities that, most trips are short, pick up short, drop off short, I think it makes quite a bit of sense.
I think a driver in a rural area, it could make sense having an EV if maybe they're near a college town and they're just doing a lot of short trips. Like it's possible. Yeah,
knock them out. Yeah. So you tested pretty much all of these cars. I mean, it's on our channel, right? All your videos are on our channel. You tested the Mustang, Mach, whatever that's called.
Yep.
You tested your EUV, the Tesla, obviously previously. You even tested a used Model S.
Mm-hmm.
You tested the Kia. Is there anything that you haven't tested yet that you want to test?
Oh yeah, I mean all of them. The main thing that's changed in the EV market just in the last 2 years is there's just a huge new number of cars that are coming out. I'd love to test the Volkswagen ID4. I think is probably a really good rideshare vehicle.
Right.
There's a new there's a bunch of new products coming from GM. GM's going to have 40, 50 different EV models in the next 5 years. There's just an avalanche of these new cars coming in.
Yeah. But, did you do the Ioniq 5 yet?
I did the Ioniq 5. Not the Ioniq 5, but it's so similar to the EV6.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Ioniq 5 is cool because it has like multi-configurable, like a center console, and the seats have like a little leg rest thing that you can take a nap on while you're waiting for the car to charge.
Is it better than a Tesla?
Oh my God.
Really?
Tesla makes fantastic software and technology, and Tesla has an excellent charging network. So Tesla's got a lot going for it. But I feel like Tesla's falling behind on the hardware front in terms of like the driving hardware and focusing on like the driving experience, and the legacy car companies like Mercedes and Hyundai and Ford and GM, they know how to build cars. They've been building cars for a century, and they build better cars than Tesla builds. I
gotta say, those new Hummers look amazing, though.
Did you see? There's a YouTube video of a YouTuber jumped one, and it just completely crumpled the frame.
Destroyed it.
Oh no! I watched. Do you watch Jerry Rig Everything?
I've heard of it. No, but no.
He basically built an EV out of an old Hummer, like for old military Hummer.
Like military Hummer, yeah.
He does a lot of other things. He breaks down phones and stuff like that, but he's done a lot of EV stuff, and
Today we're having nothing but
he was test driving the new Hummer, the Rivian. What's up?
Oh,
you're crazy.
So now it's you. Now it's your fault.
Yeah, the internet here is shitty because of the pending storm that we have.
All
the cable lines are being stretched out right now.
Probably. Yeah.
So one viewer says, get Gabe and Rivian. Rivian, is that the truck, right? That's the truck.
Oh, can I get in a plug for one of my other clients besides Harry?
Sure. Get all the plugs you need, buddy.
I hope this doesn't make Harry mad, but I'm working for a guy named Ben Sullins, and actually I should be writing his newsletter right now as we speak. But he has a website called EV Decide, and I'm writing the EV Decide newsletter, and that's kind of where I got a lot of my material in terms of what's new in the EV world over the last 3 months. But he's a Rivian owner. He's one of the first people to fully test a Rivian, and he says the new R1S, their new SUV, is like sensational, and it's a third row. And I'll tell you, that's the holy grail for my EV guys, is the third row EV. Yeah, because the idea of operating an XL vehicle for the same cost as operating an X is that'll get those guys.
Yeah, that's good. So out of all these cars that you tested, put it on our channel. What's the best car for rideshare? The one currently you're driving, or
it's the one I'm driving? I hate to. That's such a trite thing to say, but you ask any driver, any one of these guys on this right rail here that are posting their comments, and they will all tell you that the car that I'm driving is the best car for rideshare, because it is. It's the best car for them at this moment. But
better than a Prius, huh?
Well, I mean, for me, my car is definitely better than a Prius, because it's half the price to operate. Although I'm arguing with a guy on my Facebook group right now. He's like, "Oh, you don't know about this. I've had my Prius for 250,000 miles, and I've only spent $1,000 maintaining it." And he whittles his own tires, and So,
well, I saw no, I think your car. So, one other thing I want you to talk about is this, the Inflation Act, or whatever they passed in Congress, right? That all the cars that are
IRA,
So talk about that a little bit, because I think that may lower some of your cars, let's say like Chevy's costs to some ridiculous levels that may be really reasonable for rideshare drivers to get into.
Well, I don't know if it's going to. Oh, you mean lower the cost of actually
purchasing
these vehicles? Well, so the problem is that it reinstates the full $7,500 credit for every OEM that makes an electric vehicle. Before, it was only the first 200,000 that they built. Right. So now, starting January 1st, you're going to be able to get a tax credit if you buy a Chevy Bolt for the first time in several years. However, because part of this is contingent on the battery chemistry and where the battery is manufactured, and also where the raw materials for the battery are from, it's looking like GM might only be eligible for half of that credit, but they have until December 31st to fully formulate the rules. So we're not sure. nobody really knows if GM's going to get these credits, but they'll probably get about half of them for now,
Okay.
and then starting in about 24 or 25, they should get the full credit.
Okay.
Because, boy, I'll tell you, the amount of investment that is going into United States EV battery manufacturing over the last few months is just staggering. Tens of billions of dollars. They've already created like tens of thousands of jobs. It's really mind blowing how much investment's going on. And so I see most of the U.S. manufacturers and even the European manufacturers and even Kia, all of them are opening both EV plants and battery plants in the United States. All of them, Volvo, Polestar, Kia, Hyundai. So it is going to bring the price down of a lot of these EVs, but it's going to take a few years for these factories to get built and come online.
Yeah, because I mean, I know GM lowered the Bolt pricing quite a bit, right? The sticker price supposedly.
It's crazy. Like if your state has an additional incentive, like California will give you an extra $2,500 to $4,000 depending on your income.
Yeah.
You could get the price of a Bolt if, say, it got the full $7,500 credit. You can get one for like $14,000. That's insane. Crazy. A brand new one. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's crazy.
Yeah. So I mean, you know what? I think that's the future. It's not for everyone, obviously. But if you're in a big city like ours, that you don't do too much of these garbage long trips that you saw. Did you see some of those trips, Gabe?
Yeah.
I was like, who's doing this? That's in your neighborhood, by the way. San Francisco, Sacramento.
Yeah.
I go, who's driving 120 miles for $40? I go like, I'm not even sure what's happening. So, while we're at it, since I have you here, what is your opinion of the Upfront situation that's going on? Do you like it? Do you not like it? Has it eliminated all the destination filter tricks that you had, or
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, the interesting thing about this job is how you have to constantly be evolving your strategies. And I got to say, Sergio, since I've known you, like you have made me so much money. I should really pay you some kind of fee.
Well, yeah. What's the finder's fee? 10%?
Very small.
I always, Chris, I always hear like, I owe you. And then I go, where's my steak? He goes, nothing. I'm like, I don't even know. I'm just asking for a free meal, bro.
I think he needs to give you some sort of rebate on the EV beyond the $7,500 and whatever else California has.
There you go. You're gonna find me an EV that's for free.
Well, like I said, is your wife keeping her Bolt?
Yeah, brand new battery, baby.
She got
brand
new battery.
battery.
I mean, that car is like, what a deal.
Yeah.
And she buy out the lease, or is she
not yet? It's going to expire in like 5 months, but she's going. I told her to definitely buy it out.
Do you know what the buyout is?
And you know what happened after they installed the new battery? Her max charge is up to like 340 miles now.
What?
No joke. The other day she fully charged it the other day.
Yeah.
It says 348 max and something minimum, right?
Oh,
minimum.
That's if she drove at a steady 30 miles per hour.
I know, but her range got extended. It's not like the 240 before.
No. Oh yeah, no. It went from a 59 kilowatt hour pack to a 66 kilowatt hour.
Yeah,
pack.
definitely more charge.
Yeah, I mean it's great, right?
You can't beat it.
It's like getting a new, bigger gas tank.
Yeah,
but
so you like Upfront. You know where you're going. We don't have the 5 out of 10 bullshit and all that stuff, right? So
when did Upfront pricing get extended to everybody in this current form?
Not everybody yet, but
it's
not everybody.
5 weeks.
We're saying should be in most markets by the end of the year.
Yeah.
And we've had it for like what, 5 weeks now?
Yeah, maybe. No, maybe less. Not even
October or something. I mean, my earnings have gone up. My hourly earnings.
That's because you cherry pick.
Yeah. I mean, who doesn't? I mean, don't you have to make a living? Like, why wouldn't you do that?
Not according to some people.
I mean, the definition of an independent contractor is that you can pick and choose your jobs. Otherwise, you're not an independent contractor.
Yeah. So with the Upfront, DF is useless. Area preference is useless, right? All that stuff. Right?
You know, they took away my area preference option. I think because I've dropped below blue. I think I'm like
there's no below blue.
I think I'm below blue. I think I'm gray or pale yellow.
No. Actually, you can drop below blue because if you don't hit the acceptance rate, then you're not even.
Yeah. No,
Yeah, I'm
so
not even on the chart.
Yeah.
you're blue. You're blue.
Same
you're
here.
not blue.
My acceptance rate's too low.
You
It's
drop
fine.
probably from gold to blue, or
We
no,
compared-
you gotta be platinum to have area preference. So
Yeah.
Oh, this guy ooh la la, he says that Uber told him his acceptance rate has to be 75% to get upfront pricing.
absolutely not.
That's not
Unless
who
it's
told
something
that?
new. Send me the screenshot, Sergio at therideshareguy.com.
Yeah.
That is no look. I've gotten actually we should address that. We got a lot of comments on the videos that, oh, my acceptance rate has to be this. No, to be platinum or diamond has nothing to do with upfront with acceptance rates any longer.
Mhm.
You have to have 485. It used to be 480. They sneaked their 0.5 in there. You have to have 485 rating and less than 4% cancellation rate in a 3-month period. And you have 3-point periods and 1-point period. It's all about accumulation of points. It doesn't matter if your acceptance rate is 0. Doesn't matter. Well, 1%. So if you can accumulate those points, that's a lot of trips though. So people know. Most trips when I drive is 3 points worth. So to me, figure out, and there's a list of when the 3-point kicks in and when the 1-point drives are. And then do mostly 3-point trips, you will easily get to platinum. I mean, and then to get their cash, by the way. So yeah, most people, please.
Wow.
This Uber Pro shit has nothing to do with acceptance rate anymore. Acceptance rate is in the past history. There's no
No
more.
one cares. No one
Decline
cares.
all you want.
Oh, but AR, I love we Zoom. He says his acceptance rate's 21%.
That's very high, Zoom.
Bad respect.
It's high.
Hi,
Mine's
mine's in the
higher.
30s still.
Mine's in
Is it?
mine's in the upper 40s.
You're Formica, bro. You both are Formica.
Wait, what does Formica mean? What?
It's
It's
the Latin
ants.
version of ant. Latin word for ant. Go ahead,
Formica?
Google it.
Oh,
Yeah.
because the little dots.
Yeah.
Oh.
No, not the little dots. It's the chemicals that
Oh.
the ant releases, and then it's go ahead, Google it. I researched
Okay.
it.
All right. I believe
Latin
you.
word for ant. So we don't say ant anymore. Although I said it 4 times in a row now.
Yeah. So the big thing is when we're talking about
33%.
upfront fares and upfront pricing,
Yeah.
that is not tied to acceptance rate. It doesn't matter if your acceptance rate is 0% or 100% or anywhere in between. It's only going to show you upfront fares because they completely changed how they pay you. So they take away time, they take away distance, and they claim it's several other factors on top of it. Not really clarifying that or making it more transparent like they say it is. But basically, the acceptance rate does not matter when it comes to upfront earnings. If for some reason they show you that, it's not truly upfront fares. It might be something like upfront fares is going to be coming to your market and they're testing something else out beforehand.
Okay, so
AR has nothing to do with it.
Bear Clause says incorrect. So acceptance rate still required for platinum in my market. Check your own individual markets. I agree with that one on Bear
There you
Clause.
go.
Yeah.
There you
The
go.
reason
And then
I agree-
We're not talking about that. When it comes to upfront fares, it doesn't matter what your acceptance rate is. When
Yes,
it
that
comes
has
to
nothing to do
Uber
with
Pro,
showing this destination, right? That's what you're talking about, right?
yeah, when it comes to Uber Pro,
Yeah,
and Uber
that's
Pro
a different
Reward,
story.
yes, you have to have your acceptance rate has to meet the threshold. If it doesn't, then you won't get those. And
No,
that's why Gabe and I both- we're not even in the Uber Pro Rewards arena because my acceptance rate is too low, and so yours is as well. So I don't really care either.
Again, you know what Bear Claw said is right, because in LA or in I don't know other cities in LA other than I'm in LA, but maybe Gabe has it. If you're platinum, acceptance rate has nothing to do with being platinum. Period. Now we're talking Uber Pro now. You just have to be 485 or better rating and less than 4% equal to, or less than 4% cancellation fee. It's on your apps. When you click on your app, it'll give you your total points for how many points you have as an Uber Pro points. And if you click on that one more time, it'll show you what the requirements are to stay platinum if you're platinum, what your requirements are to stay diamond if you're diamond. Acceptance rate in LA, at least in LA, has nothing to do with Uber Pro Platinum or Uber Pro Diamond, Blue, Gold, whatever you are. It's just a collection of points with those 2 factors. That's it. But thank you, Bear Clause, because that's a good point. But Chris, you have it right. If Did you hear that? You are not watching. You know, there is a guy in Dallas, Gabe, that Uber is not only kicking him out after 3 declines, he's logging him out for
What?
3 hours at a
Wow.
time. 3 hours at a time. So much for independent contractor.
Do you think that's some kind of like pilot program they're experimenting on, or is that?
It's been going on? He goes since like last 3 months now, and
has anyone else
with
told you
other
this is
Dallas
happening?
drivers? He's the only one. I was like, you're the chosen one, I guess.
And that's Uber or Lyft?
Uber.
I've never heard of that happening. Anyway.
3 hours on the dot every time he declines 3 euros.
Maybe he is a Android. Maybe he has an Android, and it's
he has an Android.
Update it. Oh, maybe he should update his app.
We did all those tricks. We did update, unupdate, backwards, forwards, nothing worked.
Someone says Tuskegee experiments.
It didn't work. Nothing worked.
Oh, it's like, nope, you're off for 3 hours.
Yeah, you're off. You're off for 3 hours. Come back in 3. I'm like,
sounds like an employment model.
Yeah. I don't know.
Take a 3-hour break. We'll pay you then.
Yeah.
Nothing before.
Horrible situation. Anyway, so you're staying with us, right? Yes?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So anything else you want to add to the EV space?
Yeah, the last 3 months, like there's been a lot of EV news. Like there's a lot of exciting models that are coming down the pike. And so I would tell guys like, maybe there isn't a car that's going to be right for you now, but in the next 2 to 5 years, there's not only is there going to be an EV out there that's going to fit their needs really well, but they're going to be a lot cheaper, and they're going to be a lot, and the charging experience is going to be better because of faster charge times as well as like greater availability of chargers.
Yeah, no, I think that's the future. Maybe not here for everyone, but I think for rideshare driving, if you're in a big city like we are, I think it's perfect car. It really is. If you're targeting short trips, short pickups.
Oh my God. I mean, I'm telling you, I did, my goal last Friday was to do 50 trips, and it turned out to be pretty slow. It gets slow in the Bay Area and Thanksgiving time because everybody is from somewhere else, right?
Yeah.
They all go back to Buffalo, Chris.
No, not Buffalo.
I'm leaving Buffalo. No, I'm leaving soon. So
no. My sister lives there. Buffalo's beautiful. I love Buffalo.
I like Buffalo in the summer.
Yeah.
I don't like Buffalo. Okay, so
I haven't been there in the winter.
So we had some crazy storm that happened this past week. Let me tell you something crazier. The same exact storm happened 8 years prior. Same day that it started and ended. And then we were under travel bans for a number of days because so many people were out driving stupidly and getting stuck. And then they have to tow these cars before they can actually plow the roads. And we were hit in one of the harder hit areas. And so from the time that the travel bans actually came out of place, it was the exact same date range from the storm 8 years ago. Or yeah, eight years ago. It was 2014. Same thing, same storm, same everything that happened. I'm like, I'm not dealing with this shit anymore. This is the last winter. We're already looking places in South Carolina. Hopefully it will be there soon. And then I don't even have to worry about it.
You'll be next to Jeff. You can teach him not to be for Mike.
Yeah,
I
think you should do an episode on driving in snow, and because I've never had to deal. I can't imagine like what doing Uber in a blizzard. I know we just put a story on the site about the hurricane, about Ian. But like doing it in the snow, like, do you make a lot more money when there's a blizzard and you're like the only guy out there with snow chains, or how does that work?
Well, this storm, I bought my stuff early and I hunkered in. I'm like, I ain't going outside because I went through the same storm 8 years ago, and I could show you pictures from that, which are just it's crazy. At that point, I had my Jeep in the car. I'm sorry, in the garage, and the Jeep to the snow line, it's insane how much snow. So like the amount of snow that falls in a time frame, like in an hour, it could be 2, 3, 4 inches. That will be enough ground clearance that a car will get stuck within an hour. Plows can't handle that.
I don't want that, do we?
2 hours, it's an SUV. So my Grand Cherokee, the ground clearance that I have, I won't be able to drive after that, because then you have all the snow starting to accumulate and crush it down. So now you have heavier snow at the bottom. So this storm, I ain't going out in that storm. No effing way. When you get just a normal snow, a couple inches or something that comes through in an hour or a couple hours, that's not anywhere near as bad. Yeah, the roads are going to get slippery. Yeah, it's going to be a pain in the ass. You're going to have to drive slower. I have all-wheel drive, and that's a godsend when it comes to driving in snow. But the thing is, no matter what you have, you're still going to stop the exact same. So you got to still drive slow. You got to drive cautious. You got to be smart. But yeah, you're going to see the surges pick up and things like that, because there's less drivers on the road, and there's still a demand that's out there. But if you don't feel comfortable driving in the snow, I don't recommend doing it. If you're comfortable driving in the snow, if you have the means to do it, if you have things that if you get stuck, you're able to get yourself out, then you're okay. You're prepared. But in that aspect, when it comes to these massive storms, it's not worth it. Not at all.
Well, I can't wait until you move to South Carolina so we have better internet connections.
Yeah. Better barbecue.
So what else we got? What else we got going? We got, should we do we asked Gabe. Gabe, do you want to do your ukulele? Is that what you want?
Yeah, let's get Gabe's ukulele first.
Gabe's ukulele going. That's a nice ukulele. Wow, man. Let me see that thing.
It's Chinese made. But it's solid mahogany, apparently. I don't know. That's what they say.
All right, so without further ado, this is Gabe, a Grammy-winning
Grammy, and this is my I won a Grammy because my Grammy says I'm the best ukulele player ever.
There you go. That's it. Right there, Lisa. You're paying attention to this.
One thing that Serge and I have been discussing for a couple of years is, when will Uber be profitable?
Yeah, this is a song dedicated to me.
How's this sound, Chris?
It's good.
Good.
Okay. And Chris, are you old enough to know about the Depeche Mode?
Yeah. Yeah.
Uber makes a profit, but it's only EBITDA, because they just don't charge enough. They just don't charge enough. Even with record volume and the shit that Dara says, they just don't charge enough. They just don't charge enough. And when it rains, still the drivers are making bank, but they still don't want to charge the packs enough. Lyft stock is worth less than a slice of week-old bread, because they just don't charge enough. They just don't charge enough. Just like my hamster, in a year it will be dead. They just don't charge enough. They just don't charge enough. The lies are getting larger. Wall Street doesn't feel the love. It's because they just don't seem to charge the packs enough. Okay, now everybody, just don't charge enough. Everybody now, just don't charge enough. They just don't charge enough. Not just the ants. They just don't charge enough.
Don't charge
They just don't charge enough.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
And when you chase them, the surges disappear. They just don't charge enough. They just don't charge enough. Dara getting fired will be more refreshing than a beer. They just don't charge enough. They just don't charge enough. Kalanick screwed us because he read too much and ran, and now they just won't charge enough. Everybody, they just don't charge enough. They just don't charge enough. They just don't charge enough. They just don't charge enough.
We need to write a song like this. They don't pay enough.
Oh,
don't pay
guys,
that.
all right. We got 150 people watching. Smash that like
There's
button.
that like
Oh,
button,
good.
y'all.
I'm glad.
They just don't charge enough.
That's right. That's
I was
Gabe's
worried.
latest version of Depeche Mode. They just don't charge enough.
Wash hands, wash hands, wash hands. Tip jar. You can tip me at
Yeah,
Yes.
well,
only
yeah.
$4.99.
It's
Oh,
just
Oh,
one
wait,
little
just tip me in the app. That's what
tip.
everybody should do. Just tip me in the
Tip me
app.
in the app. Now, this is,
Yeah,
this is
Gabe,
Zoom.
your latest, what was that? That one you're like, don't smash the like button, as Chris
Oh,
says.
you like that? I like that.
Did you like how I put in there? I'm like,
I saw it, right? It was almost subliminal. Did
Yeah,
you see
Cheeky
that?
Chops has a point. Cheeky Chops says they charge a lot, but they don't pay enough. They take too
Well,
much of it. I don't
it's
know about
true.
that.
We'll have to
This is-
revise that. They don't pay enough. They
Yeah.
just don't pay enough.
Well, they pay us enough. I mean, I get paid enough, but
Well, they pay the cherry pickers enough because
they pay, yeah, if you know how to work the system, you get paid enough. But
if you're
we've
just
gotten paid, we've gotten paid way more than Uber's gotten paid, than Uber's like regular, common stockholders have gotten paid, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, well, now you're in like murky waters now.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'm
well,
not in
you're in
trouble.
murky water.
that was the first version of the song. We might have to do just don't pay enough.
We may have to
Don't
adjust
pay
it.
enough.
you know.
Yeah, well,
That's why you watch Show Me the Money Club.
that's Uber Eats, right?
Oh God,
They
don't get me
want to
started
go-
on that.
Yeah, 10 miles for
I
$2 or
I
whatever
love
it is. It's
delivery.
insane.
All right, so
All right, we
so
got a
let's
few
move on.
topics left. So Gabe, if you want to hang out with us, by all
Sure.
means, you're more than
Yeah.
welcome.
Gabe, I came up with
let's-
this idea that you're a veteran driver, 7 years on Uber, Lyft, right?
Mhm, mhm.
Mostly Uber, like me.
Yep.
So explain to our viewers what would happen. Like you accept a trip, right? You're on your way to the passenger, and you go and click on the no more new requests button. The
Oh, yeah.
no more new trip, right?
Yeah, stop new trip.
So I
Sure.
religiously do that after each. I do it right after I accept a trip. I click on it, right? So this is the way I do it, and I'm just took a screen record. It was like a couple of seconds long, whatever. I accepted the trip. Now I know where to go pick her up, and all you have to do, that's like going fast. So all you have to do is click those 3 lines on the lower right-hand corner. It'll give you this. You just click the round,
Yeah.
red button with a hand on it. It'll say request stop. So what will this do, Gabe? I'm thinking this will make, first of all, things safer because that trip radar garbage is not safe. It keeps popping up and doing this and doing that. Pings are going off, right? Number one, it will not give you, first of all, while you're driving, it's going to show on the Lyft, on the Uber app that you are not available. You're done. You're done. This is your last trip. So wherever you're driving into, if there's already surge, you're not going to kill the surge. So if everybody drove with their apps off, unless they're on a streak or unless they're on some other thing, one, you're not going to get pinged with 8 miles away, 20 minutes away garbage trips. You're going to go have a quiet ride. What I do, Gabe, is maybe half mile, maybe a quarter mile from the drop off. I'll go back in and click the button again, click the X button, saying that I'm ready to accept requests again. Because if you do this, if everybody that's on a trip did this, they don't exist on the Uber app, on the Uber Driver app. Because they're going, I'm using my right. Remember, flexibility, freedom. I'm just turning my app off. This is my last trip. I don't want to do anymore. So now you avoid the garbage pings by trip radar. You avoid the total garbage pings because, a lot of people complain, Gabe. They go, I'm in the middle of a surge, but they're giving me trips outside the surge. I'm like, yeah, you will avoid that too, most likely, because you'll have a nice quiet ride. Half a mile or a quarter mile before you get to your destination, turn the app back on. 8 out of 10 times when I do this, I'm going to get a trip right within a half a mile of a pickup again for another shorty if I'm going for shorties. But it's a safer way to drive, and it will create more surge if there is existing surge. It's not going to kill the surge because you're driving into the surge with your app on saying that, yeah, Uber, send me anything you want. I'm just telling the algo, don't send me anything you want. I'm not available, sir. So if every driver did this on a trip, we will create our own goddamn surge and we will be fine. But please, people, do this. This is a simple thing to do. Because a lot of people complain that trip radar is not safe. It's popping. All this noise is going off. They're
Mhm.
pinging me with all this garbage. Okay, you do this, none of that will happen.
Cheeky Chop says what if Uber takes that ability to stop new requests away?
And
Which
they
I
will
would
have the
say,
biggest lawsuit
how
on
could
the
they?
planet.
They can't.
They will have
They
the biggest
can't.
lawsuit on the planet on their head.
Yeah, I don't think it's possible. They have to let you turn the app off when you don't want any new requests. Otherwise, you'll just cancel, and that's like the main thing they want to avoid, right?
Yeah. Well, the thing is, it would just go from person to person to person, and if everybody's ready to not take any rides, then what would happen? That passenger would just sit there waiting to connect to a ride. So yeah, I don't see that feature going away at all.
Wait, there's an EV question here from John G. Cruz. Do you see that one? Please explain the $7,500 tax credit. So the old program, John, the pre-IRA program was a $7,500 tax credit. So you wouldn't get that full $7,500 unless you actually paid $7,500 in either payroll or income tax. So it wasn't. So you couldn't get that. However, the new IRA is now it is a transferable tax credit. What that means is you can transfer the tax credit to either the dealer or maybe even the manufacturer. I don't know if that's interchangeable, but in the case of Tesla, it would have to be the manufacturer because Tesla doesn't have dealers. So you can transfer it to the dealer at the time of sale. So that means after January 1st, all you have to do is sign a form saying that you're transferring that tax credit over to the dealer, and then the dealer's going to get that money. And the dealer's not, and then the dealer will give you either all or some of that off the price of the car.
Oh, Serge, I don't hear you.
Oh no, Sergio, now you did something. Wow, we're not having a good day today at all.
I don't know.
Sergio, what happened? He looks bewildered.
I don't know. I don't hear him at all.
Now I know how to get Sergio off the phone.
Yeah, you just hit the mute button. King it up.
Actually, that's why I learned ukulele.
Here we go. Never mind. My microphone went out. No, okay, I'm back. Okay, so on the right-hand side, look what it says. One guy says it's worth a try. I'm assuming it's about the no more new requests, right? The other guy says, yes, it blocks your map. The other guy says, yeah, Uber cannot put a gun to your head to force you to accept any trips. That's very true. Another guy says, yep. Another guy says, don't knock it until you try it. And another person says, yeah, it's worth a shot. Let's give it a try. So you know what? Why don't we do this, people? Why don't we all drive for a week with our apps off when we are on a trip at least? Right, Gabe? You have another song for this one?
For turning your app off?
Yeah.
No, I can write one for next time.
Okay, go ahead. Write one right now.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
But, yeah. I had an appropriate driving song.
While he's looking for the song, by the way, this is the same thing on the Lyft app, Lyft Drivers. It's actually easier than Uber's. All you do is swipe up. This is during the trip. Do you see where it says on the right above the arrive button, ride request on? You just click that. It goes ride request off. Lyft doesn't ping you with garbage either. So protect yourself and just drive with your app off for a week. Let's see what your results are going to look like.
Sergio, can I get your feedback on something? See if you know about this. Yeah. The coffee break button, the Uber coffee break button. Yeah. How is it better or worse to use than the decline new trips button?
The duration. It lasts I think the coffee break is 15 or 20 minutes long, number one. Mm-hmm. And I think you're allowed maybe every few hours, one coffee break kind of a situation. This is on every single trip. The other thing is, if you click the coffee break button, it still shows you as available on, as a car, as one of those little ant dots, right, on the passenger platform, because it's limited time, only 15 minutes. But truly, if you do drive with the no more new requests, the Uber algo doesn't see your car as available, period. You're basically, announcing yourself, I am not available. I am done, period. So if everybody did that, and then requests are coming in, right, Gabe? And it bounces from one driver. He goes, no, this guy's not available. This guy's not available. That guy's not available. Well, you cannot create drivers out of thin blue air. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Because demand is constant. It keeps coming in. And then, we'll create our own goddamn little search tornado.
Does
Body's got it right here.
Yeah, we don't have any more CRDs.
I've been scared to use the coffee break when I'm on a destination filter. Does it kill the destination filter if you go on a coffee
Good
break?
question. I haven't tried that one out yet.
See, I'm not brave enough to try it. Does anyone in the audience know?
That the coffee break, coffee cup kills the DF?
Yeah, will it end your destination?
Good question. I got to try it. I'll sacrifice one of my DFs for you next week.
Oh, actually, I could probably just do it now.
Well,
I'm not going to drive. I'm not going to drive till Friday.
Yeah.
So let's see here. I'll turn my app on.
Well, you got to get it right.
Go on my destination filter. If San Franciscans will appreciate this, my go-to destination filter when I want to work in San Francisco is the Fairmont Hotel.
There you go. Now you guys know where Gabe hangs out.
Everybody's gonna go there now.
Well, no, I just stay within a mile of it, as long as I can.
Pop like you know when I put those short trips up, Gabe, and then sometimes you do those quests, right?
Yeah.
They go, it's impossible to do 7 trips an hour. I go, no, not really.
7's insane. You can't sustain that though. But yeah.
No. Well, you can do it.
So check. Oh, oops.
Okay, you set the DF.
Okay, so here, I don't know. Can you see it? Is it?
Yeah.
Reflection.
Yeah, a little reflection.
Yeah, it's hard to see, but it'll work.
Okay, I'm gonna turn this light.
Okay, Kevin Hulbert, if you're doing all those things,
so
and
there's no option for the coffee break. So there's no option for the coffee break when you're on a destination filter. So I guess that's the answer.
There you go. Yes, see, Kevin, see, this is what Kevin said, which I agree. He goes, but everybody has to do it. That's why on a localized basis, if we have 100 drivers, just talk to drivers, put yourself on the Facebook pages. If everybody did these things, these guys will learn the lesson to trip or to price trips correctly, period. You guys everybody has to be the leader of their own little local section of few hundred drivers here and there, and spread the word. These things work, period. I've done this for 7 years. I should know it works, right, Gabe?
Yeah. Hey, can I mention something about proper pricing? Because I feel like there you go, Lisa. Lisa likes looking at me apparently.
Yeah.
And who can blame her?
I think she meant for the phone screen.
Oh. Fine.
I thought you might break the screen. I'm just kidding.
Lisa, Gabe is single. Lisa.
I had to get that shot. I had to get some shot in somewhere from smash the like button.
Gabe is not single.
I know, although it depends who's asking, Serge. Wait a minute. So
upfront pricing. Yeah, what are you saying?
Upfront pricing. So I wanted to readdress, because the title of my song, obviously, they just don't charge enough. And a lot of the comments were, well, obviously they charge enough, just they don't pay you enough.
Yeah.
My point is that they don't charge the passengers enough. And that's why they're not going to be profitable, because they're just not charging the passengers enough. And they don't charge the passengers enough because they have this fantasy, and their investors have this fantasy that Uber and Lyft are going to take over all transportation for all the world, for every city, everywhere. No one's going to have cars, and people are just going to Uber back and forth because it'll only be.
No, we're not striking, Leroy.
I mean, it's that's my
You're
point.
protesting. You're not striking, Leroy, but that's okay. Go ahead.
But anyway, that's my point, is that they don't price the rides enough. If they priced rides like 90% of taxi meter rates, Uber would probably have a successful business, because that's enough profit margin to pay drivers a living wage and to provide a service to the public. But it'll never return the 10x that their investors think they're going to get. So no one's going to take them seriously, because taxi cab industry, ever since for 100 years, has been like 1, 2, 3% profit margin if you're lucky, and usually taxi companies go bankrupt.
All right, let's hear it.
And that's why we're here. Oh, I'm playing another song?
Well, I don't know. You had the thing out.
If you want me to, I got my thing out.
Something short, because we got to finish the show. We can't be here all day.
I don't care if
we're already
it
going
rains
way
or
over.
freezes, as long as I got my plastic Jesus riding on the dashboard of my car. Through my trials and tribulations, and my travels through the nation with my plastic savior, I'll go far. You can buy sweet Madonna dressed in rhinestones, sitting on a pedestal of abalone shell. Going 90, I ain't scaredy, 'cause I got a Virgin Mary assuring me that I won't go to hell.
We're all going to hell. We're all going to hell.
That should be the rideshare driver anthem right there, because everyone
We're all
needs
going
to get,
hell. Yeah.
everyone needs to get your plastic Jesus
We're all
on your
going to hell.
dashboard.
Goddamn it. Yeah. All right. So,
All right. Well, let's move on to this next topic.
Yeah, man.
Keep
Move
it going. And this is Sergio. You're screwing with me now. You're like, all right, let's talk about this topic, and then you come on stream and you're like, well, not so fast. So I guess we'll figure out what this is all about.
Okay, so this is very interesting, but then this is gone again. So what happened is that, as you guys know, we're going to go quick in these next few topics because we got to finish before under 2 hours. Uber took away the receipts. You know that, Gabe, right? You took away the individual passenger receipts right after the trip, so you guys don't get pissed off and switch to Lyft.
Yeah.
They're back until
then they took it away again.
Until today.
What? No.
Yeah, they did. They took it away again.
Stop it.
So it shut off for 48 hours. Maybe it was a glitch. I don't know. But that's from a reliable source, by the way. It's from Joe, our Joe on Rideshare Guy. He goes, Serge, they took it away again. I go, thanks, thanks, Gabe. We were just about to praise Uber, saying, hey, the receipt is back. Whoops. And then Joe goes, nope, it's not back. They took it back. I'm like, God damn. There you go. Yeah, that's what the premature, you know what? Premature, can we say that word on YouTube? So Uber gave it and Uber take it away. That's right. And Uber took it away again. No more receipt. You have to dig into the goddamn website to figure out what Uber's take rate is. There you go. Yeah, they took it away. They took it away, guys. Yeah. So next one.
Hopefully they'll bring it back.
Yeah. So this is big news now. This is important shit. We got to spend 2 minutes on this one.
Oh yeah.
Uber and Lyft drivers are getting a 7.42% increase because TLC has balls of steel, and they pound Uber with those balls constantly. And that's how you're going to straighten these people up. These strikes are bullshit things. They're not going to work. You need local, strong unions. Not that drivers should be unionized. You need union support. You need local legislature support and local, company, outfits like TLC, which every city has. You need all of them to come together and tell these people, hey, man, inflation is soaring. Everything is going through the roof. You got to pay these drivers more. If you want to go into the details, TLC, Taxi Limousine Commission voted increasing per minute rates of ride-hail drivers by 7.42% and per mile rates by 24%. People, are you listening? And justifiably so, yellow and green cab rates will also increase by 23%. So let's see if Uber, Lyft, or yellow cab demand gets crushed in New York. I bet it won't, because people will pay enough, like Gabe says. You know what I'm saying? They will pay enough.
If they pay for
the
taxis,
commission is hoping that increasing the pay rates will attract more taxis and drivers to the roads. Okay. Raising taxi fare rates, we're talking about taxis. So per the new rates, are you guys ready for this? A sample trip for 30 minutes that goes 7.5 miles will require a minimum driver pay of $27.15. How do you like that, Gabe? Huh?
I still wouldn't take it.
Bullshit.
Not even need my bonus.
$4 a mile, bro. Anyway, so half hour for $27.15. Take it all day long, sir. And $4 and it's up another $4. So this is what happens. See, this happened in Seattle. They got together, they go, hey, this is what we do. $1.50 a mile, 65 cents a minute, Gabe. How do you like those rates, Gabe? You like those?
They're reasonable,
Yeah. So what would your acceptance rate be if you had $1.50 a mile, 65 cents a minute?
Probably in the 80s or 90s.
There you go. Are you listening, Uber? This is the only way, Uber.
Of course they're not listening.
Yeah, of course they're not listening. But this is the only way. So congrats to all
listening. They're just choosing to ignore.
No, they're not ignoring. All the New York drivers. and thank you TLC
Yeah, good job, you
to
guys.
pay these people a justifiable fare. I mean, this is great. There you go. I wish every city had balls like these guys who just pound these people to death, but we don't. So hey.
Well, this is something you can blame. My personal opinion is to blame the unions here in California. It's a very old union model of like organizing the shop and going on strike, and it just is not going to work with this kind of workplace. It's impossible. It's like herding cats, not just herding cats, but herding like virtual video game cats. It's totally impossible. So what they have to do is they have to go after the state legislature, to go after the cities, and get the cities to cap meter rates. Like that's something cities can do.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And I don't know why only New York and Seattle did this. A lot of these models are duplicatable, honestly. I mean,
Well,
and
people
I
don't
don't
like
know
doing
why.
things. People don't like doing things new ways.
Yeah, I guess so, which is horrible. But I mean, it's good for drivers. Congrats, all New York drivers. Enjoy the new cash. Although the inflation is up about 7% too, so they're about the same. But hey, it's better than
for time, but 23% more, 24%, whatever for the per mile. That's a whole different ballgame right there.
Yeah.
But
So-
also, Uber and Lyft in New York City are very different animals than just about anywhere else because they have a whole separate system. You have to have a permit that you rent by the week, right?
Yep.
Like it's
You can, and also by the way, in New York, you cannot log on anytime you want. You have schedules, you have certain things, you have caps, by the way, 80,000, drivers cap in the city. You have congestion fees, you have all kinds of things, right?
Mhm.
However, the driver ultimately, if a driver is going to make $27.15 for a 7.5 mile, 30-minute trip, that's a lot more than my fares in LA. I guarantee you that. And more than yours in San Francisco. I guarantee you that.
Their expenses are higher too. Much higher.
So to me, it's like, hey man, good for New York drivers. Congrats. If you guys, anybody in the crowd, New York, thumbs up. There you go.
Good job, you guys.
The next one is, so we're gonna take full credit for this. Although everybody says, you guys don't talk about safety and bullshit, right? Like we talk more about safety than you've been alive, but that's okay. So look, I interviewed Sachin Kansal, who's like one of the top guys at Uber a few weeks ago, and they announced this stuff. And one of them was, we did the 2 town halls, right, Gabe? And then every driver complained about getting a rider in the car named Killer or Gangster or Mother, whatever, right? So here you go. It goes community guidelines. So now you guys will have a choice in the app to notify the Uber algos or Uber system saying that this guy's name is fake and, get him off. And then there you go. Will they do it? I don't know. They said they're going to purge all these fake names off the platform, although they're the golden goose that lays the golden egg. Maybe they will do it. Maybe they will not. But if you guys still running into these fake names, please send them to me. Sergio at therideshareguy.com.
Yeah, love to see it. And then
I would love to see
how long will it take to actually rid all of these? Because Uber claims that they have something in place that they're filtering out names already that they have on their system, and then anything that the system has not been able to figure out, that's where drivers are asked to come in, and this is the way kind of to do that.
Yeah. So Dom K goes, Rideshare Professor called you guys out. We're not involved in any of that
What's
pity
that all
conversation,
about?
bro.
Are we
Let's not be involved in
beefing?
that.
Are we beefing with Rideshare
No, we're not
Professor?
beefing. We're not
Am I
involved
gonna
in any of that
I'm gonna get
conversation.
shot like
You have
Biggie
to-
Smalls.
You have to catch the start of the show where we made whatever it is clear. So maybe you watched the replay,
Okay.
Dom K.
Yeah, you could go to about the 17-minute mark in the show, where we started talking about that. We're not going to waste any more time there.
Yeah, we're beefing. No, we're not beefing. We're all brothers. We just have a different difference of opinion, and as adults, we agree to disagree. So yeah, this is a good thing, don't you think, Gabe? Do you want to pick up somebody 2 a.m. named
although you're talking to a guy who drove taxi cabs in San Francisco in the 1990s. I would pick up people like my friend Mike picked up a guy who was covered with human blood.
No way.
Wow.
Yep, the guy hopped in. He's covered with human blood. He says to Mike, "Drive." And Mike says, "But where do you want to go?" And the guy says, "It doesn't matter. Just drive." And Mike's like, "Well, you have to give me a destination." And then 8 cop cars surround him.
Oh my
and
God!
They drag the guy out of the back of the car and take him away.
Wow.
Oh,
There you
wow.
go. Yeah. Well, hey, I don't know, man.
I don't know. Killer, it's fine.
Well, no, you don't drive drunk hours. That's why. There you go.
A little bit. Oh, I had a puker. I had my first puker in years.
When?
Last Friday.
No.
Man.
In your EUV?
In my EUV, man.
Oh,
you have a
do you have
puke
the
bag?
little bags at least? The little baggies?
I keep medical grade emesis bags. Every
There
driver
you
should
go.
have
See,
those.
that's a veteran right there. Listen to
There
this
you go.
man. That's
And
a
then
veteran right there.
And then also I have the plastic floor mats that are like fluid containing floor mats.
Yes.
You got to get all this stuff, man.
Yep.
Oh,
That's a
and by the
veteran,
way,
by the
never
way.
let them throw it out the window. You know why?
Is
It
it'll
sticks on the
splash
side of
back
the car,
to the car.
It gets the puke gets down into the window
Yes.
track,
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
and you'll
Yes.
never get it out. It's in there
You
forever.
have to get the thing out, the hand, all the. You have to, Yeah, I exactly agree with you. Yeah.
And the stomach acid will etch your paint too.
Look at Gabe knows all this shit. That's a veteran right there. Listen to him, people.
Once a week, pukers in the taxis. Once a week, at least.
At least, and the taxi, not in the Uber.
I've only used 5 barf bags in my car
in 30,000 trips.
Yep, and
That's great, bro.
and one was my son. And then one
You
was
know,
my
doesn't
son.
count, bro.
That's the other thing. Like, if you have kids, it's great to have on hand. Like, I have a whole pack that's mostly in my trunk, but I keep a couple on hand in the center console. So if somebody's sick or noticeably sick, you hand them one. Hopefully they don't need it.
Yeah.
But if the kids are starting to feel sick and you have kids, that's perfect. Because then, if you're driving, you can't stop or something.
Yeah.
Just hand them that and say, hey, look, you got to do it. You put it right in there.
Yeah, 7-year-olds.
You
7-year-olds
know
can't.
what? Those things are lifesavers, bro. I'm telling you. Yeah.
7-year-olds
we
can't
gotta-
hold their liquor.
Yeah. Well,
No, they can't.
I told them don't mix tequila with gin, but they don't listen to you.
They
Kids
don't listen to you.
And they always go one too many.
My rule of thumb is if you're walking sideways towards my car and about to sleep on my hood, I'm fucking canceling that trip anyway. You're not getting my car.
You have to be able to use it. But think about it. You have to be able to like open the phone and open the app and confirm your address. There's so many steps. Taxi cabs, you just put your arm in the air.
Yeah.
That's all you have to do.
Yeah, but here's the thing. If you're out drinking with a bunch of people, it's a lot easier for the soberest person to order the ride for whoever needs it.
Yeah, but then if you have to be carried into my car, you're not getting in my car. No.
Yep.
No,
Yep.
it's a
100%.
safety issue. What if they fucking die in the back of your car, man? What if that person
We're going to
dies
talk
in
about
your
that. You
car?
know what? We're going to talk about that next week because they're expanding, this Uber Health bullshit that they have that we have to go pick up. Yeah, they're like a new thing that we have to go pick up, like as people who just had surgery like 2 hours ago from the hospital and take them home. I'm like, bro, what if you die? Like, what's my liability? I'm screwed. What's happening?
I don't know, pay me what medical transport.
They're not going to do that. It's minimum fare, baby, $262.
Well, then this is
What are you talking about? They don't pay by rate anymore. So there is no time and mileage anymore. It's based on other factors.
Oh yeah. It's got the algorithm thing going. I don't know.
The biggest thing is I think they should have in the back of the app where you can choose what type of rides you want, like Uber Pet and Uber XL and Uber Shared. If you have all those different options,
Uber
they
Sick.
should have Uber Medical.
Uber
and if you
Sick.
don't want to take it, you don't have to. You can opt
Uber
out.
Death.
I think that like Assist, although you can't opt out of Assist anymore in the Bay Area.
Yeah.
But I got to say, I love Uber Pet. I'm all about Uber Pet.
What?
Is it a premium service in Buffalo, Chris?
Yeah, a couple more dollars you get. You get a couple extra.
Yeah, it's a couple more dollars.
I think they pay the same as Comfort.
It might be.
That's a couple of dollars. That's not that much more.
Dollars. It's probably right around that range. Yeah.
Yeah, bro.
Better than Uber X. And let me tell you something. If you
Norma goes Uber stop for Chris.
Dude, that's a different app. We'll talk about that in maybe a side hustle app.
All right.
Yeah.
No, for Norma's thing. For Gabe, what were you saying? I'm sorry.
Well, it works out good. We can talk about it another day, though. You guys gotta finish up. Right?
Yeah, we have our last segment, as always, is our side hustle of the week, and we like to highlight different side hustles because, well, Uber and Lyft might not be around, or other apps might not be paying well, or something like that. So make your plan B your plan A with a side hustle. So we like to different side hustles out there and give people the ability.
Don't you wish we had this when we were in college, bro?
Oh, I wrote my own papers. I don't need a. They did have. Isn't this? I was looking at it. Is this basically just you could buy your term paper online?
Yes. So this girl
study documents.
You know, it's called Study Pool, right? She posts her older high school, not just for college, high school too, papers and exams and whatever. And whoever comes and downloads is $10 a pop. And this girl's making $5K a month by selling them. So if you have any old papers, Gabe, I think you should just go to this Study Pool and log on and upload your shit, and then somebody hits it, boom. So the way it works is there's 20 million study documents from hundreds of universities in 150 countries. Good. It's good that Study Pool or other similar websites like Brainly, see, there you go. I didn't know about Brainly, are not designed to be a place for students to cheat. See?
What?
It's not to cheat. It's not
There
to
it
cheat.
is.
Just a duplicate. Just a duplicate, not to cheat. And then it's a place for students to find solutions, answers, and questions without cheating. And then you go get the signs. Hey man, if you got there are a lot of young people drive Uber and Lyft, during college, breaks and make extra cash or whatever. There you go. Start doing this on the side of the Uber and side hustle. More side hustle for you guys.
That's a good idea. But it's total. It's a plagiarism mill. Come on. I mean, people. I mean, OnlyFans is for musicians too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Topless musicians.
It was Cameo.
So after uploading your docs, Study Pool review and approve upload of them for quality, whatever that means. Once approved, tens of millions of students can search and have access to your documents, and $10 a pop. It is $10 a pop. And I'm like, hey man, Sergio will be uploading all his Uber Lyft hacks. No, sir, no, Norma, not gonna happen. That's only for you and me.
No, but Serge, I'm wondering, can your professors search the database to see if check for plagiarism?
Probably, but then now that this is out, guess what? Price may be collapsing on these things just for the fact that. Do you think professors care, Norm? I mean, care about what kind of normal paperwork or cheating or whatever they do? They just kind of do their shit and go on, bro.
Oh,
they don't care. They don't care. Really? Do they care?
Ivy League schools take this shit extremely seriously.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Well,
this is for Ivy League schools. Yeah.
This is for UC San Diego, buddy.
Oh no! Oh, and please send all hate mail to Sergio.
More hate mail. More hate mail, please.
All right. Here's the thing. That set first off says like notes and things like that. So it's beyond just that. So if you're looking to do different things and take good notes and things like that, and another person who's using this service might not take great notes. I mean, let's be real. When I was in college, I didn't buy a book for 4 semesters and I still had Dean's Lists. So, I mean, depending on what you want to do.
Wow. See? All the stuff we don't know about Chris, man. This is what happens. So, okay. So we're done. Are we done, Chris? We're done, right?
Yeah, that was the last segment for the day.
So, okay, play us out. You want to play us out with something you really know well, Gabe? Instead of like fumbling around shit, can you just play something that's like really, really, really good and well?
No.
I think we need to hear just don't pay enough.
Okay, one more time. Just don't pay enough. There you go.
Just as we go out, we
go out. Yeah, we're watching Uber.
All right. Well, before we end the stream on Just Don't Pay Enough. Thanks again for watching Show Me the Money Club. Again, audio podcast is available for everybody. If you can't make the full show, this is live Tuesdays, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. And thanks again, Gabe, for coming on and talking. We'll have you on again in a couple of months. Again, state of the EV, see what's going on. And then lastly, everybody smash that like button.
You can't smash it. It's two-dimensional. It's impossible. You can't smash a two-dimensional object. You really can't.
I can smash the mouse or the tap button. So
okay, tap it lightly. Don't smash it. Tap it lightly.
All right, here we go. Some
Uber makes a profit, but it's only EBITDA. They just don't pay enough. They just don't pay enough. Even with record volume and the shit that Dara says. They just don't pay enough. They just don't pay enough. And when it rains, drivers making bank, but they just can't seem to pay enough. Lyft stock is worth less than a slice of week-old bread, because they just don't charge enough. They just don't charge enough. Just like my hamster, in a year it will be dead. They just don't charge enough. They just don't charge enough. The lies are getting larger. Wall Street just doesn't feel the love. It's because they just can't seem to charge the packs enough.
All right, guys. Hey, Gabe.
It's the bridge.
Okay, the bridge. Go ahead. Finish the bridge.
No, it's fine. You can fade out. You can fade out.
I was just going to say, while you're playing in the background, I was going to say happy Thanksgiving to everybody.
Yes,
Please
happy
stay-
Thanksgiving.
please-
I can't believe
please
it's already
stay safe
Thursday.
out there.
Wow.
Yeah, this Thursday, bro.
Yeah.
Happy Turkey Day to everybody. You know, for the past 6 months, we've been doing this. I mean, we appreciate your support. You know, we have our own ways of doing this, and everybody else has their own ways of doing this. But we're going to continue plugging along, and we're going to try to put information out, educate drivers. But we know there is power in numbers, and power in numbers is undeniable. And without drivers, there is no gig economy. And if you guys do certain small things that you could do, I think we could have a much better future. Otherwise, if you just fall into the trap of emotional, you know, all the stuff that other people do, they go like, oh, let's do this, let's do that. It's all good, you know, everything works at its own time, at its own space. But I think keep the bigger picture in mind, which we do. And I think as drivers advocate, we're going to keep doing that. And we thank you. We appreciate you. Happy Thanksgiving. Chris, buddy, happy Thanksgiving. Hopefully the snow will be gone by then.
Well, it's not going to melt fully, but it'll be melted soon. So
And Gabe?
we're all above freezing now. And
Gabe,
Yeah, you
we love you, babe. You know, you're the best, right? You're the best. And you had a fan here, right here, Lisa. I think she's scoping you out. I don't know what.
All right, well, maybe we can figure out a little.
And
I don't know.
yeah,
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. And you know,
Thank you, Vinny. We appreciate
what we're
you,
thankful
Lisa,
for.
everybody.
We got to say thank you for you guys watching, coming, hanging out, you know, commenting, all that stuff. So thank you guys, and we'll see you next week after the big turkey day. So
Wash
go
hands.
Bills.
Wash hands. There you go.
Right. And we'll get back to don't pay enough.
Yep.
They just don't pay enough. 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 Just the ants. They just don't pay enough.
Just don't pay enough.
Just don't pay enough. They just don't pay enough. Oh, they just don't pay enough.
Oh my God, that's great.
They just don't pay enough. No, they just don't pay enough.
Yes, please pay us.
Right.
No, but Gabe, thank you, bud.
Thanks for
you,
having
buddy.
me, you guys. That was a lot of fun.
Happy
Sorry about
Thanksgiving, bud.
Issues.
And you know, we're gonna keep doing this, Gabe, and you're gonna be on, you know, and we're gonna speak the truth, and you're gonna be part of it. And you know, when it comes to an EV purchase, you're the first one I'm gonna call.
It's a good plan.
Yep.
Are we still live?
We're still live. We're
still
going to
live.
get off
Yeah,
right now. So
finishing.
we'll see you guys.
This is the Jewish.
Have a good one.
You guys,
All right.
happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving,
care.
guys. Thanks a lot.